Why should I waste my time listening
Because I have a right to be. I have a voice.
Oh, this is heavy.
It's news time.
For me, I just always like in any type of movies and stuff where when you create something, you have to breathe and live in that world. Mm-hmm. And there's so much stuff coming off Infinity War and like the snap. I love how this like one thing, just even like that cold open to that movie, that's exactly what I wanted to see. I was like, the minute they did that, I was like, this is what I want. This is exactly, like, there was no better way to start the movie than Hawkeye losing his family.
Right.
That was perfect. Again,
it set the mood.
Well, that was cool how it started. You're just like,
because
you're like expecting the logo, and then they just go right into that, and you're like, oh my god.
Right. It set the mood from the last movie into this movie.
It's still
they
there's
had
still
to
characters
do it.
that weren't in it. That like again like carrying over where you're like in case you forgot, now we're seeing it really Hawkeye, and that's the thing, like he wasn't even a part of that. Like, again, like with everyone, you're not even a part of something, and you're just witnessing people dusted and all that. And then so, like, setting up, it's like, this is the world we now live in. And so that's why I was like, I loved everything from, like, Captain at the support, all that stuff, like Black Widow's, like, interactions with them and how, like, she's drained. And I mean, it's like for everyone, like, where they're at, I don't know how, like, people can complain and be like, like, that first act is a little, like, faulty or something. I'm like, no way, dude. Like, you need to live and understand that so you get the payoff of like where that the rest of that movie goes.
Right.
Yeah. So we need that. You need to understand. It's like this, like that's exactly how it would be.
Right.
And I love that. I love it. It's like finally, like I said, we've reached a point where like the stakes were there. The first time, like stakes are finally there, and there's real consequences, and they're in that. Like they have to live and breathe in that world. So we need to understand that, so that we do cheer for them and we root and like that. You're just like I said, like all the 10+ years of like following these arcs.
And the way they the way they set it up too, the first act was only set 3 weeks after the snap, so obviously they were still picking up the pieces from what had just happened.
Yeah, I heard at one point too that movie, like earlier revisions of Infinity War, wasn't going to end with the snap. Like I think the snap happens and then it gets to, I don't know how they were going to do it, but the snap happens like 3/4 of the way through the movie, and then I think you would probably see them dealing with it. And then I bet somebody would have figured out time travel or whatever, and that would be how Endgame would start. That's what they were kind of. That's what I've heard. That's what they were talking about. But I'm like, I don't know. The movie never felt slow to me at all. I was intrigued the entire time. Never felt slow. I thought the movie when it was over, I was like, that was actually pretty quick.
Right. It didn't
3 hours
seem like
and 2
a
minutes.
3 hour
that was
movie.
super quick.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, there was never anything that were like it went like. I don't know. It didn't feel like it dragged on or went over. I think, and like again, getting multiple like views of it. Like for me, I'm like, everything was in. You needed everything. You needed like all those scenes and the dialogue. Everything was so necessary, and it pertained to something. Like there would be stuff that would be called back to, like whatever they're doing with all the characters, Captain setting stuff up for like understanding his full arc and stuff with Peggy and whatever. Like we needed all that. Tony with his family. Like there's never anything you're just like, yeah, you could have shaved that off or shaved that off. I'm like, no. So for anyone out there being like, yeah, it's like it's a lengthy movie. I'm like, yeah, they throw a lot in there, but like it's needed again to get that payoff. You're like, oh, dude, it's good writing. Like they set that up.
Yeah.
What did you think of Captain Marvel? I don't think she even had to be in the movie.
Oh, Captain Marvel in Endgame?
Yeah, in Endgame. There was I think she served absolutely no purpose.
I honestly agree with you, and at the same time I disagree with you because we obviously have a Captain Marvel movie, so they're setting something up.
I get
for
that.
The future.
Because of that, you have to have her in the movie.
But they could have pushed Captain Marvel the movie after Endgame.
Thank you.
Because like you said, I don't think she was needed.
Start of Phase 4, you start with Captain Marvel.
Yes.
This is like their journey up to this point.
Right.
Captain Marvel's so strong too. It kind of takes away their accomplishments because it's like oh, I could if you guys had me, you could have done it. I don't like that. Like just leave her.
She seemed too much of. I don't want to say like a hothead, but she was full of herself.
She's cocky.
Yeah,
she's super cocky.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't think she was needed in Endgame.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
She's not a good character.
And the Russos did the best they could to like keep her out of it. I feel like because like it literally is like so random for her to be like, okay, I'm gonna be gone for a very long time, and then I'll come back. She's gone at the beginning and she comes back at the end. That's her like only 2 appearances.
Yeah. Exactly. And honestly, when that scene happened, when Thanos' warship warship's guns turned,
Yeah.
I honestly thought that was a shield carrier or something.
I was
coming
kind of.
through.
I was hoping it was,
I
dude.
thought it was
Through
Shield.
the-
I thought
I was hoping
yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
If it
I
was
thought
Shield, it would be
Fury
way
was
better,
coming
bro.
in to save the day.
That's what it should have been, I think. I
Yeah,
totally agree
exactly.
with you.
That's
If that
what it
was
should've
Shield,
been.
that would have been sick. That would have been
Right.
so much better than Captain Marvel coming in. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, fucking Nick Fury. Let's get some Nick Fury in this movie.
Right.
That's what I want. That'd be sick.
That's right. There's no presence of Shield or anything like that. For this movie being like such a celebration, like in all the components and things that they touched on,
Yeah.
there's really nothing of Shield and anything. And I thought the same. I was like, oh, dude, like it's gonna be.
I thought it was gonna be a helicarrier.
and all
Yeah.
that. I was like, yeah. And then it totally makes sense. Like, oh yeah, like again, because that's the thing. She's in the beginning, and it's like, peace out, and go get a haircut.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's
She
like she
was
never
not
come.
needed in
Yeah,
this
exactly. She
movie.
didn't come back. And then that moment, you're like, oh yeah, totally forgot. She, I guess, is in this.
Right.
But like all of that, like I said,
You
like
do. You
I'm
forget.
frustrated. Yeah.
You forget she's in the movie.
And I'm frustrated.
You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
like,
middle of the way, you're like,
I'm
oh,
just
shit, Captain
frustrated.
Marvel.
Like that is like a thing. I think it's like a setback for like Feige and them like overseeing this. And like I said, all the hype and that they've done to chirp on the outside of being like, oh, she is gonna be a blah 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 like this. Like they try to make her be a contender. And like I said, like when you watch this movie, you're just like, that is fake. Like it was false hype.
Yeah.
That wasn't needed because you
Yep.
look at it. I'm like. She didn't chop his head off. She didn't do anything. Like Thor did that.
Right.
And then everything in the end, it's not like she choked him out or did anything to like take out Thanos. So I just look at it being like she didn't play a decisive hand like
Yeah.
everyone kept saying she would.
Right.
So then
Yeah.
in the end, that's why I was like, why? Like you just did it because you could, and you just did it because I mean, like everything you're trying to do. I was like, that was a shoot. You just shoot into this movie
Right.
when you didn't have to. Like, exactly.
Right.
Like you could have spent a little more time to develop or come up with I think a better solo or entry in it. Yeah, it's like there was all this stuff where you're just kind of like, yeah, Captain Marvel's like the one right now for the MCU stuff where I'm like,
Right.
that's kind of a setback for them. Like
Well,
they could have done
That's the
better.
only
What
problem
I
I
didn't
had.
like about that
I
too
agree.
is that at the end of
Useless.
Infinity War, everybody was talking about Captain Marvel, how she's gonna be, like you said, a deciding factor
Mhm.
on what's gonna happen in Endgame. But in the end, it was fucking Cap, Thor, and Iron Man.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be too.
Right. That's how it should have been. They started it. It should end with them. Captain
Yeah.
Marvel was
Exactly.
She was a
We
supporting
got
character in this
lied.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they lied.
But from
But that's
what
good though. I'm
everything
happy with that.
happened-
Yeah.
I didn't want her. Like I say, I'm happy with it being the big three. Like
Oh,
those three
yeah, of
doing it.
course.
Like that would have taken it away because it just seems like you're throwing in a ringer at the end, like the
Right.
very end of this entire thing.
Right.
Let's throw in another Superman just so that we can kick Thanos' ass. It's
Right.
like no, those three, they've been through so much, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge for them. You don't want it to not be a challenge, otherwise it's not an interesting movie.
Yeah.
When you bring in Captain Marvel.
Yep.
But yeah.
I will say though that last battle scene when they gave the glove to who was it?
Spidey.
What was that?
Spider-Man?
Oh, it was Captain
It
Marvel.
went through different. Yeah, it was
It
like
went
it went
Captain
from like
Marvel,
That was
but then
at
they
the
had
end.
all
It
of
went from
Marvel's female
Spider-Man, Black Panther,
cast.
Black Panther,
It
Spider-Man.
went from Hawkeye gave it to Black Panther. He's like, let me take it. He runs, does this
And
crazy
then
stuff.
Spider-Man had it,
takes
and then it
and
fell,
then Captain Marvel.
and Captain Marvel. But that scene when all the
You know
Marvel
what that actually-
No, yeah, it
actors
was
came
dope.
together and made a
Oh,
path,
yeah.
that was awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody lost. In my
That
theory, like
was
everybody lost
great.
it.
You know what that
Yep.
actually
People
reminded me
wanna
of
see
though
that.
when they were passing the gauntlet? That was actually a lot like Justice League.
Yeah.
When they were. Did you
Oh,
get
when
that
they were-
feeling?
Yeah.
At the beginning with the what's the box thing or whatever they were taking?
Almost a Tesseract. Mother box.
Mother box.
Yeah, I mean that's what it reminded me of
Right.
because that was actually one of the coolest scenes in that movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was them like passing it along up.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, they're doing it in this movie and they're fucking killing it. That was
Yeah,
sick.
I like that.
I was the same. Yeah, I was like, it's just it was a longer
Yeah,
sequence,
longer,
and then
better.
Just, that's a thing that like yeah, exactly with the characters like how because they had
They
more to
took
go
that
off.
from
It
it,
wasn't just
yeah.
a thing of like oh yeah, it's like the Amazonian. It's like yeah, the way they
Right.
pull it off. I was like, this is dope because that's what I love. Or like Black Panther's like, give it to me. He does his thing? You're like hell yeah, let that guy like, watch
Right, he
him run,
was
watch him run.
hauling
And then like
ass.
Spider-Man, yeah, exactly. The way they do it and how it's shot, choreographed, yeah, just like
Oh, the
dude, that
Valkyrie thing,
sequence.
dude. When
Yeah,
you see Valkyrie,
yeah,
Right.
Remember that Valkyrie's
Like,
flying
you
and
love
Spider-Man's
that.
on the back.
Swoops
You're
it.
like,
exactly.
that was so sick.
Yeah, no, that's a great sequence. Like everything about there, you're like, of course they do this or whatever. And it was just, yeah, man, the way everything of that, like, you knew. I mean, for years, like like we get the moment in Avengers 1, you get moments in Guardians, you get all these things of like these teams and stuff and these shots. And you're like, oh, dude.
Right.
But we knew at some point we would get like the whole ensemble of like here's
Yep.
everything
Yep.
we've ever introduced, and here's all these characters in one.
Right. I
final
love how they
last
set it
scene.
up
It was so
too
good.
at the beginning where that first ring opened from Doctor Strange, and then we're like, oh hell yeah! But
Oh,
then
man.
out of nowhere, just hundreds more started opening and
right.
people coming in.
I mean,
from
I got
everywhere.
like when you hear Cap on your left, I just got chills, dude.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the portal opens up, and you're
Right.
like, fuck. Strange,
It was sweet to see
strange,
that
like
they brought in
rallied the
Asgardians,
groups, and oh my
they brought in
god,
humans,
yeah, the Vikings.
the
They were
tribes.
Vikings, right? There was like Vikings that came through from like Asgard or something.
Yep.
That was sick.
Yeah, Valkyrie like led and brought whatever of their warriors, and then you get like Wakanda and all
Right.
that tribes. Oh, dude, like that's what everything of that. It felt like theater because it was just weird, like seeing all these like troops like come.
Yeah.
And like getting a moment that like on screen where like everyone in the theater was just like clapping, like everyone.
Oh,
just
yeah.
got, like a warm welcome, and like the theater, everyone's clapping, cheering about like whoever it was.
Oh.
Regardless of all these characters.
Yeah,
like,
people are
that
so
whole setup.
excited.
And I was like, this is so cool. Like taking that in and just being like, just witnessing this, being like this is crazy.
Right.
You never get that in any
Right.
type of like movie experience.
Yep. I liked how it was all focused around Cap being the only one conscious, fighting him one-on-one.
That's how it should be, dude.
Mhm.
It's just him. It's down to him.
Oh,
and he's
dude.
he doesn't know anybody's coming. He's willing to get back up, and he's
Right.
gonna take him until he dies. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how, dude. That's just Cap.
Yeah.
Every one of the main six had just great scenes in that movie. Nobody, for me, stole the show. Every one of them had
They all had their
a
moment.
good amount of they had their big moments. I do I know we got Professor Hulk throughout the entire movie, but I wish we would have seen him do something in that fight at the end. That would have been
Yeah.
great to see.
I don't. Did he fight at all? I know his arm was like messed up at that point.
No,
So,
no,
like,
he didn't
did
fight
he-
at all.
he
He
do
was like
anything?
They
stuck under
showed
a
him. I
building.
remember them showing him,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't remember him fighting.
Nope.
I don't remember doing anything.
Nope.
Yeah. The whole that collapse in what was it? What was the with the water?
Yeah, where was that water coming from? Was
I
it?
can't remember. I
It
don't
was
know.
because I think Avengers the headquarters is by like a lake or a
Yeah,
river,
I'm pretty sure it's
and
like
I think
either
that it was
a pond or something. I don't know
yeah,
what
and
is.
it just fell in, and then the water started to pour in there.
Yeah, because that was like the last we saw when he was trying to get.
He was
Yeah,
trying
he's
to
like
hold
trying
up
to
the
hold the
building,
thing up with one arm,
right?
and he's like, so
Was it
I'm
Rocket
assuming
and War Machine?
Professor Hulk is weaker than normal Hulk, or because he looks smaller.
I have no idea.
But isn't he smaller than like when they showed like the flashback scene to New York?
Right,
He was smaller, dude. Like he's definitely like a smaller version of the Hulk.
right.
So I don't know if you're like giving up a little bit of each one to be that. Like I just want to know if he still has the same strength as like the
Right.
like the actual
I mean,
Hulk.
he should.
Right,
That's the
think he
thing. I guess
would.
I don't know if
I
they would
hope
ever alter that.
In the future, we
Should.
go into more of what happened with him and how he did that. We had
I
that
agree.
couple minutes of dialogue between Black
Just
Widow
shows
and
up
the
at a
Hulk
diner.
That's
and
what-
the Cap, and
You're
then
like,
that's
oh
it.
crap.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, like I remember in Avengers 1, I was so convinced, and that's the thing. Like Avengers 1, I remember before that movie coming out, being like, oh my god, dude, like we're gonna get Smart Hulk, like we'll get that, and I can't wait for that. And then same with like instead of the Chitauri, I thought we were getting the Skrulls back then. I was like, we're gonna get the Skrulls because obviously they got to do stuff
Right.
to set up. And I was like, at some point down the road, Captain's gonna be a Skrull. Like there's this whole thing, Secret Invasion. And it's like everything with all these movies just end up getting trolled by Disney. I was just like, I'm so off on like these predictions.
Right.
But then finally, like in this, I'm like, oh my god, we're finally like there it is, Smart Hulk finally. But that was my thing of like as much as I want to see that character and I loved it, that's where like the juxtaposition. Like there's a lot of stuff in this movie where it was just like, hey, like talk about it, don't show it. And
Right.
for me, it was just like 5 years later. And then it's just like him being like, hey, I did this thing. And I'm just like, oh, but I wanted to see that.
Right.
I wanted to see that.
Right.
And we didn't get it. And that's where, for me, I was like, I can get on board because I still fucking loved it. I agree, though. I'm like, I wanted to see that. That's
Yeah.
a fucking cool moment if you show that. But, it's like there's a lot in this movie. And so
That's the other thing I
want.
wanted to see too was more Quantum Realm. I want to see
Yeah.
more. They kind of brush over that too, but I think
Right.
I think it made sense because if you tried to explain it, it's only
There's
going to make
just
it more
not enough time.
complicated. It's going
You
to waste
guys
time,
like
and
how-
people are going to pick it apart.
Do you like how Scott came back with the rat?
I don't know.
I thought there was more to it. I thought we would explore the quantum realm and he'd figure out a way how
that's
to get
what I
out.
thought. I thought
That's
he
what
was,
I thought.
he was
I
going
thought
to
he
figure
was
something
going to
out.
be
A
in
rat?
there for a certain amount of time.
I thought that was a little bit
And
of
he
a
would
That's
Cop
lazy.
out.
That's lazy writing.
It
That's
was like, come on, to
convenient
turn on. First of all, to turn on that machine, it takes more to hit one button.
right.
Right.
It should not
Pure
be like
luck,
hit one
pure
button and
luck
then he's back.
Stepped
Pure
over.
luck
This
by
rat
a rat.
stepped over
A
something
rat.
and sent
Pure
him
luck
through
by a
the
rat.
portal.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. That surprised me. I was like, that was lazy. I'm like, whatever he had to get out,
I
he
know.
got out.
Yeah.
But come on, you could have had
A rat.
Could have planned something a little
I
bit
know.
better. I
And
don't know.
no Michael Pena. That
Yeah, fuck, I didn't even realize that. There's no
It
Michael
would have
Pena.
been great if they wrote him in there checking
my
up on the
phone's
van like he was going to take it because it's 5 years later, and he accidentally
Dude,
sends him
actually,
through the
like,
portal.
that's the thing. Come on, man. Like this movie is such a celebration of all these characters, and for everyone, like ancient one, all these ones, people to like pop in.
That was awesome.
Even like Robert Redford. I mean, all this kind of stuff. You're like,
Redford
dang,
was
dude,
awesome,
like
dude.
look at
That
all
was
this.
sick.
But that's the thing. It's like, come on, man, Michael Pena and like that crew. You know, what's been hilarious is like actually in the end when all this stuff's happening, they actually show up like with T.I. in them. But then you bring a call back to like Ant-Man, them being like, nah, we're not needed. Back it up, back it up, back it up, and just go back through the portal. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Or have them show up to that battle in the band, dude. That'd be like the most ridiculous.
That's what I'm
thing.
saying.
Dude,
They
walk
show
out
up
the
in the
circle.
portal
Yeah.
when everyone's arriving, and then you get a nice call to be like, dude, the Ant-Man family's here. And they're like, we got this. And then they look and be like, Scott, nah, you don't need us. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Yeah,
and then
dude.
Doctor Strange just being like, yeah, you're out of your league on this one. Like, I'll send you back.
Yeah.
So
That
literally,
would've
some
been
cool
great.
Yeah, right? That would have been a great moment. And that's why I was
Yeah.
like, no Michael Pena.
Yeah,
I
that
just
would've
want to
been-
see him because I want to see him be like, dude, that's Thor, and that's whatever. Like, I want to see him finally interact with all these
That is one
these
actor that should've made
icons
appearance.
or whatever. Yeah, that would have been fucking
Missed
cool.
opportunity.
He was never
Right.
like declared snapped, was he?
Who?
Like Pena?
Oh, we don't know.
You don't know, right?
No.
That's
So-
yeah.
so
we
you could've
don't
run
even
back.
know.
But that would have been perfect.
But even if they were, like, that's what I'm saying. Just that would have been cool. Like
Yeah.
them showing up thinking, like, yeah, Scott, we got your back, and then just being like, oh no. Like, no. Scotty.
Oh no.
Oh man, yeah, dude. I didn't even think. I just remember that. It's like, yeah, no Michael Pena. And I'm
What do
like,
you guys
oh,
think
I love
about
his
the way
character.
they wrote Cap out at the end?
I like it.
I totally, yeah.
I mean,
I'm fine with
I
it.
predicted that he was going to die in battle. I thought it was going
I
to
thought he was
it was
gonna
going to
die.
be the ultimate sacrifice,
Mhm.
basically what Tony did. I thought he was going to probably
I
snap
thought
and
that too,
die.
exactly.
But
Right at
I'm
the
like,
end
like
too.
It. You get everything you want. You get to end Cap's story. He gets to go back, do the dance, live
Right.
there. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like that ending scene is like confusing. I don't know. The whole time travel thing, it's like I have to go back and I have to rewatch to understand it all. I know when you go back in time, it's basically a multiverse. Like when you go back in time, you're not affecting your reality. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
From
Like
the way it's in the
you're
movie.
affecting- You're affecting another
are?
reality's. You're affecting another reality's like outcome. You're not affecting
Yeah.
your own. That's why you can't go back. You can't bring back Black Widow. You can't do that. You can't change your past. You can't. Caleb Evans. You can't though. You can't change.
No,
you can't
yeah,
change
so-
your past. Your past is set. You can change another reality's future.
And that's what that, like, talking to, like, the Grandmaster Wizard or whatever that Bruce did.
The ancient one.
The ancient
Yeah,
one.
the ancient one. She was saying, like, when you take a stone out, it obviously creates that different timeline.
Yeah.
So when Cap goes back at the end there, all he does is interject himself into that timeline.
But he does alter that timeline.
Exactly, because he's not even in that timeline.
What do you mean he's not? in that
Because he's
timeline?
still in the ice and that. So they think he's still in the ice. They don't go to
Right,
look
but here's
for
the
him.
thing. They brought this up in something I was watching. He's affecting Peggy.
Yes, 100%.
So that whole universe, like I don't like if they're together, Peggy's doing different shit. So like they're
Yeah.
totally altered.
Yep.
They're going off
Yep,
another path.
a different
than what we
line.
saw.
Yep. And then he jumps back to that
I'll get into it.
timeline.
He brought back the shield. So that means like did the other Cap not need the shield because the future was different for him? That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Thor's hammer, though. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine the Thor from that realm just freaking out because
Yeah.
Mjolnir's
But
not
that's the
there
thing,
anymore?
Like when
But you put it
they go
back.
back to like exactly return everything, then it's like it never left.
It never
Right.
left.
So
They put
nobody
it back
ever
right at
knows.
that
Except for
moment when
Captain
it was
America, who
taken.
stayed. That's the only
Mhm.
reality that actually changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's multiple like when they all go back in time. Is that like 3 different realities, or is that all the same reality?
No, I believe
When they're
it's
on their mission, they're all going to the same.
yeah, it's all the
reality.
same reality because it's different time periods.
So like it's
Give-
not a time. It's not like a time structure thing. So they even like say it's not like Back to the Future, like where you can go back
Yeah.
and like if you interact
It
with
doesn't.
your
It basically doesn't affect your future. Like, 'cause your
Exactly.
future is you going to the past.
Yes.
Like, that's your new future. That's
Yes.
your future. So
Yes.
you're not affecting. Like I'm not gonna like turn to dust because I did something and
my
someone
mom and dad
else's
never
reality.
met or whatever, like that whole Back to the Future thing. Yes,
Mhm.
that is 100% what it is. I think they did a good job for how much time they didn't spend on it, making you believe it.
Right, because I don't think they wanted to explain too much.
Exactly,
either,
because they
that's
could have
just-
spent an hour on that, and it would just been like,
yeah.
mm.
There's too
and
much. Time
honestly, I
travel
don't-
is so hard
yeah,
to pull
it's
off.
hard.
I don't
and
think-
they
I don't
did a
think time
good
travel is
job
even
just
possible,
giving
so-
you. Yeah, they did a good
You know,
job
it's a
just.
theory, so it's
Yes.
You can only do so much. With
Yeah,
it. It's
they did a
basically
good
your
job just like
imagination.
giving you like the
Yeah.
bit that they gave you.
It did go quick though, because it was like Tony like figured out time travel. Like it seemed like a week later.
Yeah,
That was quick.
yeah.
He was like,
But
"Yeah, I
it
think
just
there's a way to
shows
do
how
it." And
much-
Tony's like, "Yeah, oh, it's possible. I got a machine ready to go. We can do it." It's like, damn, Tony's pretty fucking smart.
Yeah. Well, he was like even joking. Like he
But
was
it
like,
sounds
"Man,
like
you know, just do this one thing," and then like, "Yeah, it probably won't work," and then it like works, and he's like, Shit.
I'll also say though too, it's something that Tony has been probably working on for like a while, because I'm sure he was like, "Fuck, how can I fix this?" You know, he's not with them, but he's trying to figure it out too. So it wasn't like he figured it out in a day. You just didn't know he was working on it for so long.
Yeah.
I'd say he started working on it after he figured out how his dad died.
Yeah.
That's kind of
The barf thing, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the barf, that is some sort of time travel. He's
I like how
working on it
Rocket
anyways.
also calls his shit out too. Like he's only a genius on this earth.
And I say bullshit to that. How many other people have figured out time travel?
Right.
They seem like the first freaking people to ever figure out time travel. No, Tony is smart. Like, I don't care what Rocket says. I'm sure Rocket's smart, but I don't feel like many other people in the universe figured out time travel. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. We lost
Yeah.
Brian.
Bathroom break. Bro, you got a donut?
Caleb's always got to do
Where's
it.
that donut from?
that's from Hy-Vee.
From Hy-Vee?
Yeah.
Nice. Little Hy-Vee plug.
Yeah. Shout out to Hy-Vee for the
Sponsoring.
donuts.
Hy-Vee.
I like Hy-Vee.
How much was that
Get
donut?
Wahlburgers.
I have no idea. It was free. I had a customer give it to me.
Ooh.
Did you just give him the eyes? Was it a guy or a girl?
Give him the
Cutting this out.
Did I say give him the eyes? Yeah. You just give him the eyes?
Captain and Bucky moment.
What do you think about Valkyrie being Queen of Asgard?
Hell yeah.
I'm all-
if
yeah.
Thor's transitioning basically to a guardian,
I love that.
Let's get
I love
Valkyrie.
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
if you want a female Thor, like kind of like the old Thor,
Yep,
but
yep.
like mixed, get Valkyrie.
Yep.
That's dope.
'Cause
I'd
I
rather
think
watch
they
her than
do-
Marvel.
Yeah, no, I and that actress like Tessa Thompson,
So good.
she can carry a movie.
Yeah,
like she
that's what I
can,
was
she can
saying.
carry a
She
movie.
Carry it, dude. I would
Yeah.
watch that movie.
Because I think when they did, and this is pretty recent, like in the last few years or maybe a little more, but like in the comics, like there's a female Thor, but I think it's Jane, Lady Jane. I thought or whatever. Like I think they did a thing where like it's her. I could be wrong, whatever, but I just know like that's a thing, and I'm just like you don't have to spend the time introducing someone. You already have. Like Valkyrie's legit to just be like, hey, yeah, like here's female Thor that we're gonna go with.
Right. And I like how Thor passed the torch to her at the end of the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
saying that she is now the new ruler of Asgard.
Yep.
That was great.
Do you think that Tony's daughter will become Ironheart, or are
Ironheart.
they going to go with the
I'm
boy
a kid.
from Iron Man 3? There's no reason to put him in this movie unless he's going to have a role moving
It was.
forward.
I mean, I don't think you needed to put him in the movie unless he was going to have a role.
Yeah,
He's
and-
not that.
and-
I mean, or unless it's just like a cute cameo where it's like, oh man, that's
Remember
the kid from the
him.
movie. I mean,
But
I
no,
get that, but,
but
I'm like,
nobody knew who. Like that's like one of the things. Like who was the surprise character at the end? And it's like, if you were a nerd, you knew.
Unless you followed Iron Man 3 and you knew that he was the
You gotta
kid from
talk
that
way
movie,
closer to it.
you would never know. So I think he does play a role in the future.
The
I do
kid,
too. I think they did play at like Morgan, his Tony's daughter, being like Ironheart, just with her wearing
The only
the
thing-
helmet.
The only thing I don't know about that kid is like I don't think he's been in that much, and like I don't know. I mean, that's a big role for a kid that had like a smaller part in Iron Man 3.
I mean, he was like the co-star
I
of
just
that
don't
movie.
think like.
yeah, but what else has he been in besides that?
I mean,
I
that
don't-
goes
I
like
don't know.
Iron Man 3 goes back like that relationship was almost like them defining before they had Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and that
right.
was a thing of like, hey, like protege, you know what I mean?
Now
Like
it's
here's this
more like
kid.
Spider-Man,
And then
I
Spider
feel
that's what I'm saying. That deal wasn't done. Then nobody knew and then we
Spider-Man
get
has an iron suit too.
exactly.
So, I mean,
we
he is
get
Iron
like
Man,
we get like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and then you're just like well, that kid like screw that kid because like now we have the real
Yeah.
deal. Like Peter has that relationship.
I feel
I
like
just-
it's-
I don't know. I think the Young Avengers is like coming. I think if anything, I don't know. I don't know. If you either do that and you do the Ironheart, or I mean, if they even wanted to, like, you want to bring this kid in, you want someone else to be like a young Iron Man. The combination of the two. I mean, like you see Pepper wielding, like the Iron Rescue and stuff.
That was
and finally
awesome.
doing
That's
that.
sick.
So I mean, like, fuck, why not do two type Iron whatever characters, or even if Morgan, like, why can't she be kind of something with like what's from like DC what's her name? What does Barbara eventually become when she's Oracle?
Oh, yeah.
Oracle.
Yes.
When she's kind of
Yep.
taken out, she kind of takes a different approach of like just overseeing everyone and
Yeah.
like being their eyes. Maybe Morgan's gonna be that. Maybe she for the Young Avengers because it's like that's coming. Like they're
Yeah.
setting it up. And like Scott now, like his daughter's older. You have Hawkeye developing with Kate
Yep.
Bishop. It's like
Yep.
that's all.
And he
there.
even like shouts her out and calls her Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like at the
Young
beginning of the
Avengers
movie.
is
Yeah, I
coming.
mean, that's
It's coming.
huge. Yeah.
That will be its own little spinoff, and
Yeah.
it's just like that'll be a fun thing that's gonna come. So it's like I see, like maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know if we get Ironheart. I don't know if we get another Iron Man with that kid. Either way, it's like I don't know, but they're
Yeah.
gonna be something with Young Avengers. Like
I
it's
trust
coming.
him.
Yeah.
At this point, after that movie, I mean,
Yeah.
not even after that movie, but like in general, I mean, the way that they brought all that together there. I mean, we can really, if we wanted to, we can nitpick, and that's kind of what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
But like that movie.
The movie's not perfect, but it is epic in every single.
You
accept it. I accept it.
100%.
I'm on board with
you
it.
can always make a movie better. That movie to get 10 years, 11 years of character development, falling in love with these different characters, and then having it executed like on that high of a level, never been done. Never will be done again.
And give another 10 years.
I know, right?
Yeah, but you'll never have that feeling like when you're in the theater, dude. Like that's like I was talking to Joe. I'm like, this is like a once in a lifetime. Like this is the first of its kind. We're watching it right now as it's happening.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I literally was sitting in the theater, and that scene where they open up the portals and Cap just got done wielding the Mjolnir and shit.
Yep.
Fuck, dude. I had adrenaline, dude. My chest was like I was hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
I've never felt this way about any movie ever.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally cried.
Yeah.
When Tony died.
I've had so many people,
and
like,
I wasn't like,
still getting
oh yeah,
texts
I'm
from
gonna
people.
cry when somebody whatever.
Yeah.
I just fucking cried, and I was like, oh, I was like, dude, what is this?
Yeah,
like it was unexpected.
Dude, I was saying for me, I've had like different people I've talked to that are like seeing it, and they're talking about like just all the different moments. Like I mean, like I had a friend like he cried just from that hammer scene alone.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm surprised I didn't cry like that. I'm like, that's what I wanted, and it's like you just love when you finally it's like this is what I wanted to see, and then they give it to you. But like for me, like we talked about it with Doug, and I was like, dude, the cheeseburgers of any moment in that movie, I'm like, dude, I just witnessed Tony dying, like I didn't cry. I mean, it's definitely like you feel it, it's like, dude, this is heavy.
I teared up.
And like that's the thing, I'm like, you just feel it, heavy, but like, not even like tearing. What got me to the point of just like, am I about to cry? Oh man, I'm feeling this. The cheeseburgers, Jon Favreau, and just literally how he delivered in like that moment with Morgan, and her just being like cheeseburgers, you know, and then how he takes it in, and then it's like full nostalgic moment going back to Iron Man 1.
Unless
and
you're a true Marvel fan, you will never pick up on that. And that's what we all are, and that's where those moments
I just love those
are more defining than some of the bigger
ones. Like
I
think
Iron
that's
Man
what it
dying,
is. I love the quiet moments.
Everybody
that's just
felt
such
that.
It's
but
just a beautiful
cheeseburger
moment.
scene, like you said, we
Beautiful
know
moment.
that
Your dad loved cheeseburgers.
When
That's
he
what
got
I'm
out
saying.
of that car and was having a cheeseburger, you know?
Yep.
So we know these.
I think that
moments
was like how it hit, where I was like, I think that was it hitting me of like Tony's gone, like RDJ's done, but just that how he delivered. I'm like that acting. I love just the quiet moments, like don't have to be epic or anything. I was like just that's such good writing, and then only from like Jon Favreau, where
Jon
that
Favreau,
guy,
that was such a genuine,
that's what I'm
real
saying.
line.
So good.
It seemed real. Like it seemed like he was like
he
literally
took that in, and like you're sitting there, and then what comes out of his mouth next?
That felt like real as can be.
Because I wasn't thinking that. Until he pointed out like how he took it, and you're just kind of like he took a beat, and like man, when an actor can do that, where like you take that beat, and it's like sometimes those pauses, and it's like why are they pausing? You know, like when you take a beat but it's like executed that way, and how he did, it's just like your dad loved cheeseburgers. You know, it's like oh my god, I was like this moment. So that's why after I'm like that's the moment that's getting me. It was like cheeseburgers. I'm like yeah, man, that's good writing. I was like that was such a good callback. So yeah, I love that.
Yep.
And then. Oh man, yeah, I just totally love their send off for Cap. I'm on board with that. I'm good, and I love Bucky. Like that was something too. I love Bucky. How he took everything with that. I was like, I just love that Bucky gets it. Bucky knows
Bucky
like everything
seems
about
drained.
that.
He just seems drained.
I loved
He's
it.
like, hey man,
Yeah,
I don't have to prove. I don't have to be your protege. Like I don't have to be. Like I'm just.
He seems
like,
so at peace.
Yeah, he's at
Right.
peace.
Everything about it,
Right.
like his swag, everything he had. You know, that's for him. Huge arc of everything. You're just like, dude, like I like for me in my mind every time like anything with that stuff going on. And with him and Cap, him and Sam, I was just like, Bucky's just a G. Like at this point, you just feel that
He's
for him.
just
Just
chill.
like, dude, he's so just like, like just shrugged everything off and was like so
I do
collected.
wish we would have had a little bit better of a send off, though. I mean, they hugged right before he went in the quantum realm, but then I wish there would have been something more.
And it's maybe just something you didn't see. You know,
True.
You could have just not seen. They could have had a whole conversation, and they just left out of the movie.
Brian really did want
He wanted them.
He wanted them to kiss. He wanted a Gabe moment. Gabe's just been wanting them to finally come out.
At that point, though, when Bucky told...
hey, real quick, he never said it was Peggy. It could have been like an earlier version of Bucky that he went back to. It could have been.
Oh, man, we're getting down there now.
Keep it going.
Let's go down this rabbit hole.
Keep the innuendos going.
He was like, hey, man, look me up when you get back there.
Falcon goes, you want to tell me about her?
And he said...
And he goes, no. He
says
says her.
It's not. Yeah, but he said no because he didn't say it was a her. He just said no.
I mean,
yeah, he's like I don't think.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. We're,
I mean,
we're
you understand, yeah, right? Yeah,
This is
you understand the
obviously-
story.
And obviously
but
it
you
was
understand that he
Peggy
can't.
because the flashback goes to
Yeah.
Peggy and him dancing.
I mean,
Oh, was there a flashback?
there's always just
yeah,
like
but that was-
innuendos.
Cover
yeah.
up.
Yeah, right.
Cover up.
You can
Tom
always
Cruise
just keep
moment.
all the innuendos and all the stuff that like people like want to believe in. So you can always keep that stuff going. But obviously, it's like that like serves the purpose of why he like can't say who it is. And like Sam, no, they all know. They like, dude, we know what you did. Then like
Yeah.
Bucky knew, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, and like knows what is up his sleeve of like, dude, you're going to Peggy. Like we all know that. But again, that's him keeping like to not mess too much with stuff of like no, be like, yeah, I went back to Peggy. It's like he can't say anything.
Yeah.
Even though in their minds it's like, well, it doesn't matter. We already know.
When they
That's just
or
for him.
when Bruce was split from Hulk, I thought for sure it was gonna be like just the Rage Hulk and like rip through New York because Bruce
Oh,
isn't there to
man.
control him.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh man,
Yeah, what
they're
happened? That
gonna.
body just went limp? Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
she just
Yeah.
knocked him unconscious and like
Yeah,
had
so
him.
basically there is
Astromorph.
Yeah, so he's the mind inside the body.
Yes.
There is no other Hulk mind.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
his
no,
mind.
It's like that's the thing with Smart Hulk is it's finally
Yeah.
just a thing where like
Hulk's the body, he's the mind.
it's them coming
Yep.
together. It's finally like we are one.
Yep.
And so like Bruce is finally just like giving this control.
And
of,
that's
like,
why I was like, oh, like with that,
Yeah.
he has now they've both come to like a meeting place of like middle ground.
Yep.
Like, hey, let me be here, and you just be thinking for me all the time. And then when she pulled him out like that, I was like, he's gonna lose it. And I thought for sure he was just gonna rip up.
Was it like when they explained it? Was it like him and Hulk coming to an agreement, or did he like
Yeah.
go back in the lab and he did like? It sounded like he went back in the lab. He's like, I did some
No,
tests and I
that's-
figured out a way
yeah.
to like merge us. It was
Yeah.
more like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He said he
So it
did
was
some of
like
the
him.
gamut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's I think for the movie's sake, like that's how they're gonna explain it. But like, I know, like in the stuff, it's more of like it's that inner battle.
Yes.
and it's
Like,
like
we
this
gotta join
weird.
up.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I wish we could like they would actually just figure out a way like show us
Mhm.
because like I wanted to see that. But then when you hear again, because juxtaposition, it's just him being like, I just did some things and exposed more gamma and like.
Right.
You know, but
In the
you know
movie.
it's like, but somewhere like there's a way to do it where that's what's cool about when you see it. I'm pretty sure like the cartoons have done it,
Right.
Because that's why I was like, oh man, I want to see that. Is like it's this cool like inner self war thing. It's like facing each other, yeah, and then it's just a thing of like become one, you know, and then it's just like and, like into reality, boom. Now
The scene
now
was
you're
so
seeing
funny,
Bruce
too.
and Hulk
They
together.
just said they needed a bigger brain. Cut. You got Hulk eating pancakes or something. Talking.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
The funniest
Like,
part.
what?
Paul Rudd was awesome in that movie too. But the funniest part of that scene was Paul Rudd being like, "Hey, I'm Ant-Man."
Right.
And
and
then
Oh
they're-
my God, the
nobody
pictures.
knew.
They're trying to get the kid to take a phone. He's like, "Just give him back the guy."
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, dude, I love Paul Rudd. in that movie.
Yeah, right. That
That
whole
was
moment, that
hilarious.
was so good.
Just give him back the goddamn.
No, it's fine. No, you want to take your photo with them. No, I don't want to take my
No, I
picture with them.
don't.
Yeah, just all this stuff. Yeah, and it's like, well, we'll do it. Like just them some minutes. It's like, yeah,
Just give him.
but yeah, just give him the goddamn phone. Oh, that was so good. I'm trying to think what else.
Did you guys talk about the like girl power moment?
I don't think we talked about that, did we? Or did
We
bring
touch
that
up on it,
We brought
yeah.
up?
A little bit.
Just that,
Okay. I loved it.
just the
Yeah,
yeah.
that was dope.
I loved it too.
I mean that it just like they were really gonna do like a all female cast.
Totally. I
They
mean, yeah,
kind of did
you
that in
can.
Infinity War. They touched on that with Scarlet Witch and Widow and
Yeah.
the one from Wakanda. That was like a preview of like the
Yeah.
actual. You know what I
Yes.
mean? That was
Yes.
like because they kicked ass. You're like,
Yeah.
she's not alone.
Mhm.
And then, but this was like freaking all. You're like,
It was
oh,
every
shit.
single one of them.
You don't even
Yeah.
realize there's like an Avengers of like
Yeah.
Women,
like,
yeah.
powerful. Like maybe the most I mean, all the most powerful superheroes are the women actually. Marvel and Scarlet Witch is powerful. You don't really realize that until the
yeah.
end of Infinity War
Her
in this movie.
fight
You're like,
with Thanos
Yeah.
was,
Oh, that was
so
yeah.
good.
yeah.
So good.
Basically, anyone that
Dude, I
has
loved
a
his
hit-
line.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even know
I
you.
don't
I
even know
love
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. You will.
Fuck this bitch.
It was. That was so good. I just
You took everything, and he's like, I don't even know who you are.
He's like, what?
She just
Oh, yeah, that was
tears
so
him
good.
up.
Do you
That
think
was-
there's any chance that Vision comes back through another body? You don't think
no,
there's any way
because
Vision's
Tony's gone.
No,
yeah,
like,
but Shuri's there.
Yeah, they. I mean, they
Oh,
got their own.
Tony.
They got their
Yeah.
own show.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you watch that scene, it's like every like when she's trying to like bring him back. You know, they have the little display,
Yeah.
and it looks like everything gets connected right at the end,
Yeah.
like in Infinity War. But I'm like, you can
She-
maybe like put
yeah.
his consciousness in another body.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
you could do that.
Yeah, he's. I mean, yeah, he's coming back. I mean,
You
it's
think he is
literally the.
coming
it's the Wanda and Vision. Like, it's their show. You know what I mean? Like, we all know how they're doing it.
Is that going to predate Infinity War and Endgame?
So here's the thing. What's weird about it is, like, they've confirmed apparently it's supposed to take place in the 1950s.
How the hell?
Don't fucking know what that is.
Yeah, this is weird because she was created.
But he's
in,
coming.
Like,
I think,
Ultron.
yeah, like, sure, like, she got him.
Yeah,
she got him out.
quantum realm and traveling.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like, I don't know. There's some good stuff to explore though with Vision. There's a good comic that came out like in like last year or 2 years, and it's not with Wanda though, but it's really dope. It's just like Vision basically he creates his own family. He wants just to be human. He wants to live a normal life, and so he creates like in his own I guess like in his vision or whatever, corny, but like he creates like, you see like this female Vision. His kids, like, they look like him. Like, they all have like, they just look like weird like female and male versions of like Vision, but it's them just
They all got capes.
Dude, they just
all
no, they
purple and
wear
have
like
capes.
normal clothes, and like his kids, they go to school and stuff. But it's so just like weird because it's like Leave It to Beaver type, where like it's his idea of just like, I just want to be normal and like live this life. And apparently, like, that comic book, like, it was like super well acclaimed or whatever, like the writing and stuff. So you see that, and I was like, I could totally see them exploring that like with their show.
Yeah.
Of them just being like, we just want to like be left alone, like live life or whatever, and then like the themes that always come with Vision of like, where do you draw the line of like AI and like really just like self-aware, like human, like really is like he's just his own being and stuff.
What do you think's going to happen with Chris Pratt or Star-Lord and Gamora? You saw at the end of the movie that he was searching for her, but she definitely...
Is that what they're doing at the end? They're going to find her?
Yeah,
yeah,
they're searching.
He was searching
when did
for
she
her.
take off?
I mean, they don't show it.
They just say like, we're gonna go find her or something.
She just
I missed that part.
she cut off at
It's
the end.
well, like like he's looking at her picture on the ship, and then like when everybody comes onto the deck, he swipes away from it.
Yeah. It was saying searching too, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
searching
yeah.
whatever
It
star
was in
maps
red,
thing,
right?
like it had all that. Yeah,
That just
So
reminds me of
that's
like
gonna be the premise of Guardians 3 for
it
sure.
reminds me a little bit of like Fast and the Furious with like Dom and the one
Yes.
chick that loses her
Yeah.
memory. I'm like, that's what I thought of right away. I'm like, oh, now they have to like fall back in love.
Right.
Yeah, I even heard you like say something while we were watching
Yeah,
the
I was
movie,
like,
like, "It's just like Fast and Furious."
Yeah.
Like,
It was, dude. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
I mean,
okay,
it is. It's super interesting, like for a character, because like 2014 Gamora, exactly, like has no idea about anything.
And like, where would she
there's
go?
no family. There's nothing.
Where
of
would
that.
she go from like there? I'm
I
trying
mean,
to think
that's
if
a-
it
I
was
don't know.
like nowhere, or if it was anything that we saw in Guardians 1 or 2, but
Yeah, I have no idea.
because
I don't
like
know
it's not
where
her
they would
planet.
take
She's not
that.
going to go back to her planet.
And there's gotta be
she's stuck. She's in the wrong reality too, right?
Right.
Like, she's not even in her reality
And
anymore.
if you think about it, nowhere is destroyed. Xandar is destroyed. She's probably... We don't even know. We don't even know what
Exactly.
planet she might go to.
There's still, I mean, there still has to be stuff with, I don't know, whatever, I can't remember what those beings were called, but, because we're getting, like, Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock's coming, like, we know that much, like, he still has to play a factor.
And that's why I
So,
think
I don't know.
Thor is with them, because the Guardians can't fight Adam Warlock. He's
No.
like
Yeah.
he's insanely
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
He's on the same scale as Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Like those two
he's
beings,
a huge player.
and that's why they took her out of so much of the movie.
Yeah.
Like she can't be there because she'll just nullify. Like I mean, as soon as Thanos' ship got there, if she would have been there,
yeah,
the base doesn't get blown up. We don't have Ant-Man and Hulk trying to get their way out. You know what I mean? Like none of that.
you're talking about
happens.
Marvel right now.
Yeah, like
yeah,
if
that's
she
what
was
we were
there.
saying earlier too.
come
She's
back,
too
yeah.
powerful. They
Yeah,
had
she's
to
too
take her out of
powerful,
that
and
movie.
it's the same thing with Adam Warlock. Like that's why Thor has to go with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has to be able to fight Adam Warlock.
Here's my
and-
question: will Thor ever lose weight, or will he just be forever Fat Thor? Is that
No,
like
he'll
the new
he'll
like,
get back
comedy?
in shape,
Fat Thor?
and it'll be like another like thing in between like Peter Quill and him. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna get back into shape, and then Peter's gonna be like,
I thought
do
like
the
maybe
same
there's
thing,
some
you
maybe
know?
there's like a fight over Gamora. Maybe they fall.
Uh.
The thing is, I would feel weird going after a Gamora that's not my Gamora. It's like
Right.
a fake Gamora. That's weird, dude. That's not. I don't know. That's not the one you fell in love with. I mean, it is her, but it's not. You know what I
it
mean?
is the one you fell in love with.
It's weird.
She's just hasn't fallen in love with you yet.
Mhm.
So it's different, like because like he
But
knows.
she's basically from a different multiverse. I don't know. I'd be like, that's not. You're falling in love with a different Gamora. It's a duplicate.
maybe. I mean, I'd still take my shot.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you're just like you're already over it. How do you think the other Gamora feels that just like died? She's just like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's dead.
Fell in
Doesn't
love with
matter.
my old self, I
Yeah.
guess.
Try twice.
Oh well.
Yeah, man. Technically, she died like 6 years and 23 days ago.
Was it? Is that how it works out?
Well, if the battle is taking place, 5 years
Yeah,
later.
true.
So she's
Yeah, you're
dead.
right. Yeah, it was 5, 6
But
years
what
ago.
do you guys think about Black Widow dying?
So you're
I
saying
did
that's
not-
enough time to move on to another Gamora?
Yes.
It's a 5-year span, then you can move on to another one.
That's the time frame, 5
Yeah.
years. That's why they chose it. What did you guys think about Black Widow dying? I didn't see it coming. I did not
I
see
thought it
it
was
coming
Barton.
at all.
liked
I
it.
thought it was gonna be Barton. I'm like, they gave Barton that that messed up beginning, so he can
Yeah.
he's okay with dying because he's
Right.
made not necessarily mistakes because he's killing bad guys, but he's I don't know. But then it takes away the whole thing of he's got his family back
getting
and then
his
he
family
dies.
back,
and
yeah.
that would suck.
You knew it was going to be her, but starting at the beginning of the movie, I never thought she was going to be a player that would die.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Captain. I always thought Iron Man.
I thought like Hawkeye. Like, I mean,
I
just
thought Hawkeye
Jeremy
would
Renner.
right, like these
until they
characters that don't
confirmed-
need
Yeah.
that don't need to go on.
I
in
mean,
the-
it is interesting that
universe.
at the end of it, you count the death count. And it's just 2. Like we made it out of Endgame with really just 2, because it ends up being ScarJo and then it's Tony. So
Right.
in the end, I was
Capsule.
I was expecting something
Eventually.
more of
right.
Hawkeye just being something certain characters. It's this is the final stand.
Yeah.
And until 2 weeks ago when they do the Disney Plus, and it's and Jeremy Renner. I feel like they should not have announced that, because when they go and Jeremy Renner is going to be leading into his own Hawkeye show along with the whole Disney Plus announcement.
Right.
And they just for some reason felt to announce that same day, and I go, oh, so Hawkeye is going to survive.
Yep.
So then it just throws that, and then you see everything play out. So I'm like.
And if I didn't
Black Widow and that, that's it.
And if I didn't read the rumors about probably a week or 2 ago of them talking about a Thor 4 because
Yeah.
of Chris Hemsworth and
True, yeah.
her name's Tessa, at that one scene where Thanos is pushing that axe to
Oh.
Thor's chest, I knew he was going to live, but if I didn't know about that,
True,
reading that, I'm
yeah.
like, oh, fuck, he's about to
I
die.
know, I was
thought
like,
that was
what
going to be
is
the end. I was
going
like,
on?
and even in the movie, I'm like, what's going to happen?
Well, what if
Yeah.
they did
What is gonna
this?
happen
What
here?
if they did this? They said they're working on a Thor 4 movie.
Yes.
What if they just transferred Thor over to Guardians and then the Thor movie is for Tessa Thompson?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I could see.
That's interesting.
She's
Yeah.
taking over that Thor movie. He's going to the Guardians. That's how it could work. Because right
Right.
now you're thinking, well, if they're making a Thor and a Guardians movie, but you think Thor's going to join up with the Guardians, what would be the sense of having a Thor and a Guardians movie?
Yep.
But I could see him going to Guardians and then her taking over the next Thor movie. That'd
That's
be
such
sick.
a crazy thing to think
Yeah.
about Thor being with the Guardians
And
now.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
That would be
last thing
cool.
that we need for the
Yeah,
Thor
that would be cool.
mythos. So
I mean, they
it's
hinted at
coming.
him in Ragnarok.
I know. So that that's coming. That's the last thing. Just we need to see that. So that's a great addition to the Thor family.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
do
there
want
you
to see
go.
that. I think
But how do
every
they
Marvel
figure
fan
out
wants
who
to
gets
see
the
that.
axe then? Because Beta Ray in the comics has the axe, right?
No, he has the hammer. So
Oh, he
that's
has the
that's
hammer.
a weird. That's the thing. Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, I don't know what the film's version of Beta Ray, what their take would be on him. But yeah, that's the thing, because there's a point where like in the 90s, I was like, Beta Ray Bill is really he was the Thor of the 90s. There's just a point where they do something, phase out Thor, but it's hey, this guy, he's worthy, and he ends up being like Thor. But has a good story where he loses family and all this kind of stuff, and his race, whatever they are. So it's just a thing that's there. It's damn, dude, when everyone's who's worthy to wield the hammer, and it's this weird looking horse creature, alien, whatever, and so that's a big deal. And but
Zabi
you
kinda
fall in
looks
love.
like Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of stuff Zabi looks like. You can't even, you see those
The boar horse.
the war hounds, or whatever the heck those things are called, war dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
There's all whatever they are. Yeah, you see those things. I'm like, Zabi's one of those. Just there's always this stuff. Yeah, we talk about the trailer with Lion King. And you see Pumbaa, and it's there's Zabi. Just literally, there's so much crap that Zabi looks like, and I keep seeing in movies.
Do
pop
you
up.
think Loki will pop back up?
Oh hell yeah, dude! They
Because
totally did it. 2012
he-
version of Loki's alive.
He gets the
and
space,
he gets away.
But that's the
and
thing
he
I
gets the
don't get.
space stone.
If he is he a lot
Now
I
it
don't know.
makes
See, I don't get because he's supposed to put the stone back. So when that reset that reality where he wouldn't be getting away.
but they no
He
because
took
they
that
they
stone,
had to,
so they went to a different timeline.
they
to
got the
get that
Tesseract.
stone.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
they had to go back
Yeah,
to a
you're
different
right.
time where they knew the Tesseract.
Yep, so they could only
Exactly.
repair it back in
Yep.
what was it,
1970.
when he
Exactly.
meets his dad.
What they did, they went, and so that one we
Mhm.
know his place. 2012 version, Loki's gone,
way
and
that-
and
Still-
that's
that
what they
still
even
defeats their
confirmed.
whole purpose though, of well, you can put it back and everything go back to normal. 'Cause,
Right.
and that reality, Loki got away.
But at
so
that
is
point-
altered. Huh?
Just at that point.
So what was the what? Yeah, at that point, but that's where it spreads off. You're like,
I
oh,
don't even
shit,
know
it's
what I
normal
don't
to
even
that
know
point,
what
and
his
then it
show.
goes
I don't
off.
even know what that would be because that now it makes sense because they kind of there was stuff spoiling Loki's show where they said it's him meddling with the timelines, and I'm like, meddling with the timelines. I mean, you just going off of what Endgame was to be expected. There's gonna be some form of time travel, but again, a Loki show where it's
We still don't
Isn't
know
this
when
guy
these
supposed to be
shows
dead?
are going to be, though. If they're going to be post-Endgame
Oh, yeah.
Pre-Endgame.
Dude, I think it's just like
Anything with Loki is going to be post, because he has the space stone. So now he's able to like jump around and
You think
move
it's gonna be
through
post,
space.
like what we just saw?
Yeah.
Or do you think it'll
Yeah.
be like from that point when he stole it?
I think
and
it's
then
all,
his
I think
different
it's
stuff?
all over the place.
it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
going to be
supposed to be, like,
fluid,
time-
like
yeah, he's all
she
over.
says, or like
I think it'd be just cool to see like different, like a totally different alternate universe and how it got fucked up after Loki took it.
That would
Like
be
you
interesting.
see a totally different, like maybe there's not a Thanos.
That would be
Maybe
interesting.
there's not. Maybe it's just a totally different universe.
I'm
in that
really
world.
interested to see how all of these different Disney shows will live in the
I know.
MCU universe, the cinematic and what do you call it, Disney Plus universe, because they're going to be similar,
like,
but
intertwine
there's
it
going to
and
be
stuff.
there are going to be some differences.
No, I mean they obviously have a plan and they'll probably kill it. They usually do.
Dude, something I actually remember. I remember a while back, like seeing something online where there's like a theory with it was like when all the Netflix stuff was cut.
Yep.
Which is just like, oh my god, dude, what? Like, you know what I mean? Especially like for Daredevil, I just feel like terrible because they're like Daredevil is
Punisher.
perfection. Yeah, I mean those are the two. Those in my opinion the strongest. But when you see all that, I'm just like the only thing I can think about was like maybe they want to introduce like those characters into their cinematic. You know, finally be like, yeah, we got plans or something. And it's like I don't know like how they would interact.
They should put Punisher, Deadpool, Daredevil, all those characters should
Dude,
be in the same
Yeah,
movie together.
I mean,
or realm.
That
You know what I
stuff,
mean?
yeah, like I'm totally for it. But there was stuff where like there was a theory, and there's like if you actually look at it, the Defenders, like as we know it, the Defenders are not like the typical Defenders where it's Daredevil, Luke Cage, and them. They originated Doctor Strange, Hulk. I think it was like Ghost Rider. There's like other one, like those are actually the original Defenders. And then you look at like what we get with like Ragnarok, you get some of these ones where these characters kind of pop up, and like with Hulk, like you're left with Hulk of like the movie rights are still screwed up. Universal still owns and stuff. They're not ever going
Right.
to do a Sony
They won't
deal.
do a solo
they don't
Hulk
want
movie.
to.
They've already confirmed
So
that.
literally, like only what they can get away with of Hulk of just kind of plugging him, how they can use him with the Avengers and that stuff. It's kind of a thing where like that was an early theory. They're like, we might be getting a Defenders movie, and now I'm like, oh my god, oh it's Namor. Like that's who it is. He was one of the founding, and you're like, dude, he's in the pipeline right now. He's in
Who?
the works. Namor, like this
Okay.
Submariner,
Right.
and he's part of that team.
The Tremors that they were
I
talking
think-
about
exactly.
when
Namor.
ScarJo was talking to what's her name from Wakanda? I can't. think of it.
I know.
Okoye.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the earthquake. She's like, well, what are we
Oh,
doing
yeah.
about it?
Yes.
They
She's
snuck
like-
that in there, dude.
Yep. So that was a.
That was an Easter
That's
egg.
exactly
That's
what-
Submariner.
that's an
Yep.
Easter egg, big
Submariner.
fan.
He's
yeah.
coming into like
She's like, we let it happen because it's an earthquake.
Yeah,
We don't
it's
do
an
anything about it,
earthquake.
but really, it's
Yeah.
more than just that.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
it's
That was a
Marvel's
nice little
Aquaman.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I was like, this is foreshadowing something.
Yeah.
When you heard it, it was like, that's too random.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to
And
be.
then they don't go
nothing.
back to it.
and
It's
he's
like
in
there's something
it's in
about
the
that.
works. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think to me, I'm like that's super exciting because
But
then
it'll be
you can still do
years.
Daredevil and you can still do any of those characters. I mean, shit, dude. Like they could finally do a Luke Cage and Iron Fist movie. You can finally explore into like the cinematic universe, and we'll get that in the pipeline. I just feel like with the Defenders, like that, I'm like that's legit.
I feel like that's not
That'd be a
even on the
badass
back
spin-off for
burner,
Doctor
though,
Strange. Like
of
people want
Disney
more
right
Doctor
now.
Strange.
I
don't
want
even
more
think that's
Doctor
on the
Strange.
back burner because with this new Fox deal acquirement, they have to introduce X-Men and Fantastic Four. So that is going to be such a far way down the line.
I just think like after we get the next, I think we get the next installment of Doctor Strange and Black Panther. I mean, like Ryan Coogler right away was like, I want to play with Namor. Like I want Submariner. That's already right away in the talks. And you're like, damn, like because there's a lot of good stories between Submariner and Atlantis and Atlanteans versus Wakanda. So there's a lot of stuff there. You're like, oh yeah, but then there's like some people saying like, no, there's like been arcs where like he could pop up in Doctor Strange. I just think like either way you do it, just I'm saying like to keep alive Hulk, and it's like, well, what do you do with this guy? I think Defenders is some point we're gonna get that like that, and that's just another good spinoff. You're like, who would ever thought like, well, we'll get the Defenders in like a cinematic version, but then like they have a chance they can actually go right to the true source of like issue 1 and being like, we'll give you all the heavy hitters that it was like in the debut.
Yeah, I also don't think it's a coincidence that the new Asgard is on a seaport for that reason alone. Like all of those things will tie together.
Oh yeah,
Like that's on a seaport. They're talking
Right.
about earthquakes underneath the sea.
yeah,
We got Wakanda and their history with
yep.
the Atlanteans and all that
There's a
stuff.
lot comes
Like
with
it's-
Namor.
There's
all
like
gonna tie
barely any Asgardians left. Because if you think about it, half of them got killed on that ship. Then the snap happened. You're down to a quarter of Asgardians. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm like back on Infinity War. Okay, in that movie, halfway through, there's only a quarter.
Remember,
that's a fact.
Remember, Hulk sacrifices his right arm.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if
How do
that
I
will
forget
like
about
ever
that?
like go back to normal. If they're gonna keep.
I'm wondering about that too. Yeah. What happens?
I mean,
to
he
that arm?
heals, right? He does have healing abilities.
Yeah, he does.
So I think it'll heal.
Yeah, but I mean, Thanos was
I wonder
there for
about that.
5 years, and his was still.
No, Thanos was there for 23 days.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was like because they say
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
a few
yeah.
days
Yeah,
ago,
that
2
happened.
weeks ago or whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
But that was after they chopped his head off. Then that was
Yeah.
the 5 years after that. Okay.
And he also destroyed the stones, so he was really messed. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
a
he used
different.
it
That's a
twice.
different injury.
Yeah, he used
'Cause
it twice.
That's like,
on one
man,
arm.
you're destroying all the stones, and that only happened to you. Like,
I love
He
how
actually wasn't too bad.
battered and torn they made him look.
yeah, I like
At the
I like
beginning
that
of the movie,
portrayal
like,
of
he
like I've
was
done my duty.
exhausted,
That's all I
right.
wanted to do,
Right.
and now I don't really care anymore.
Yep.
That
Well,
was
they
cool.
said like the whole thing behind it is just like the only purpose that these stones now serve is like temptation, and him just being like, no one will undo what I did.
Right.
So like me acknowledging that's like this is a power that like isn't meant for anybody but me. You know, like that's the thing with like Thanos that it's just so interesting to see how they develop that character like Infinity War. Because on paper you're just like, dude, Thanos is just one of those. He's a heavy hitter of like a ultimate baddie.
Yeah,
you know,
he
like
just
we know.
murders people for death.
Yeah, but there's never like what they did to be like, man, we really gotta flesh this guy out, and like what they do with him though, I'm just like, oh, dude, it's so good because you're just like, but it's still a thing where it's like only from like perception and stuff to be like, yeah, like he's not necessarily wrong, but it's also it's like that's where you draw the line where anyone can be like Thanos, but then like certain people, it's like get to be a Captain America,
Yeah.
to be like. You at some point have to draw that line and be like, you don't get to make that choice. You don't get to be God. You don't get to do this thing. You cannot be that. But him being like, I'm that mofo that will do this and like take it upon myself or whatever, and like you will appreciate this like down the line. But that's where we have that fun discussion like in comic books of this genre of superheroes where it's like it's tempting. Anyone
Right.
can do that, but it takes something extra to be a Captain America to be like, but you don't get to make that choice.
Yeah, I think they
I
did a
love
really
that.
good job with his past self, even seeing his death, Thanos, and still being like, yeah, I won. Or like, I did my duty. Like, yeah, you're like, okay, you see the one that did do the snap twice, and he's like, he's calm and he understands what he did and he's okay with it. But then even showing his, what is that? How many years in the past are we going back for that Thanos to be?
For his death? Or
2014, they said.
So.
Oh, yeah. That's 2014.
9
So
years.
the time of,
And
yeah.
that 9 years,
Yep.
Thanos still has the same resolve of like, yep, I succeeded.
Dude,
I did
I-
my job. And
Yeah, I like it because he comes across as like all knowing.
Yeah,
but
and
yet
he didn't-
his perception can still change. Like, okay, I got all the stones and I gave everybody mercy.
Yes.
But now at this point, I see I can't give the rest of
Yes.
the people mercy. I have to just end this.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I love that.
And he didn't like panic. It wasn't like
think-
oh my God, I
No.
die. It was like,
Yeah.
I died because I did what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can like with Infinity War, there's things where you have that argument of being like, I see his side and like, dang, what I like about this version, this is a more sinister Thanos.
he's more
because what I love about it is like
Right.
he sees how everything plays out. And
And he
how he
adapts.
comes, how exactly
changes, yeah.
he comes and tells him, he goes, "Thank you for showing me this," because
Exactly.
now I see when I did this thing, which was mercy, you guys
Nobody
don't get it.
grew.
Yeah.
But what did
Nobody
he do? He
grew.
goes, "I'm going to do it again, and now I'm going to make one change with the wish. You will appreciate, you will worship it,
Nope.
because then no one will ever know."
No. He wasn't
Like,
gonna
that's the
snap
thing.
again to destroy half the universe. He was gonna destroy the universe and create his own.
No, exactly.
Because
That's of
he-
something that would worship him and
Yeah.
appreciate. And like he said, like he goes, "That was the mistake I made," because it goes apparently
Yeah.
like what I did before. He goes, "I gave you mercy, but you didn't see it that way." And like no one, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like there is no like love there for that. Where he
Right.
goes now, he goes, "Oh, like now I'm just gonna
Yep.
like end it and create this new world, but everyone will appreciate it." Like it. That's where you're like, "Oh my God!" Like that's where he goes off the deep end, and then you're just like, "This guy is sadistic,"
Right.
because that gives him a new motive for his character, and you're like, "This is a more dangerous Thanos
Yeah.
than what we just saw in Infinity War."
He
And
had
that's why I love
resolve
that.
in
It's all
Infinity War.
perception.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I was like,
In
oh,
Endgame, he
dude.
didn't. Not at all.
Yeah.
After he saw what happened, and then we only got him in these 2 movies, but yet they flushed him out so well
Yeah.
that we understood Thanos
Oh yeah, you understand
In
him
2
better
movies
than
alone,
some of the
Yeah.
characters we've
as much
been
as we
following.
understand Thor in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah.
America, Iron Man. They did such a good job with his character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they did.
What is his son, but they don't call him his son in the movies, the wizard, Squidward.
Oh, Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw.
Oh, okay,
so he
yeah.
sounds more like Ebony Maw in the second one, because like in the first one you hear Ebony Maw like you are blessed. to
Ebony
be-"
Maw is like cocky, and like
Yeah,
he
and,
comes
like,
across as condescending.
Even
You know what I
in
mean?
your death,
Like
you
yeah.
are living through Thanos, like that thing.
Yeah.
And that's how Thanos started to sound in Endgame
Yeah.
when he realizes I have to get rid of everything so I can create
That's-
my reality,
that's-
and
Yeah.
nobody will know otherwise.
Yep, and that's what I love about it. Just that evolution of that character of like him coming across as all knowing, but yet he's still learning based off of
Yep.
these different realities and how it goes down.
Yep.
I don't know.
I,
I thought that was genius.
They did
Yeah,
good
like
with
you
that.
say, he became way more sinister
Mm-hmm.
because he knew he had to be.
How
It
did
didn't work.
How did Thanos' daughter die in this one?
Nebula.
No.
Gam-
What it? She's the one with the spear that catches in Infinity War.
Oh,
I don't even remember.
Did they even? Yeah, I
I
was
don't
don't
think
know
they
if she
even
gets
showed it.
I don't
cast
even
off
know if they
She
showed
probably
that
got
stuff.
dusted, bro.
That
She probably got
big-
dusted by
yeah.
Tony.
Because they
I
show
think they're
Ebony
just
Maw
fighting.
getting dusted because he's like walking up to Thanos
Uh-huh.
and he fades away.
Yeah.
But then
She
the
might
big
have got
guy-
killed. I might just not remember because I feel like
It's
that's
a- I
something
mean,
that you would have
there's a
you would
lot.
have showed her
Yeah,
dusted.
there's a
I
lot
feel
of
like.
that stuff in there.
And the big guy gets stomped on by Ant-Man.
Yeah, Obsidian
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Ant-Man, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I can't remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing her die.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm sure she did. Yeah, I mean she had to, but I don't know if it was dusted or in battle.
I don't even know her name. It's like Midnight something.
Midnight Procta.
Yeah,
Proctus.
something like that.
Proxima
Proxima,
Midnight.
something
That's
like
what
that.
it is.
Yeah,
Proxima
yeah.
Midnight.
Wait, you didn't see her die
No, Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah. Kayla, was that? Did you see her?
Oh, you saw her
dusted?
get snapped.
Well, I assume they all got dusted.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We're just trying to figure
There's
it out.
different-
Ebony and then the big dude.
Yeah.
I didn't see like her or the scrawny guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm
how
not
did
sure.
Nebula and Gamora fit into that team? Are they like ahead of them?
Yes.
So they're like his two right hand girls are
Yeah.
those, and then below that is like
Yep. The grunts.
the grunts.
But like Ebony Maw definitely thinks he's up there.
I mean, Ebony Maw is more powerful than Gamora. I mean, he could. I feel like he could just split people with his mind if he want. I mean, he can literally. He's like
I mean,
Magneto.
in raw power, yes, but I think that Gamora's stature with Thanos and then like her knowing where the
Yeah.
Soul Stone was,
Yeah.
like she had a lot of knowledge there too,
Yeah.
but she just kept to herself.
Well, and she was Thanos' favorite daughter too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
At least in the universe, I don't know. Nebula might have changed his mind when she started.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? That's what's funny too. In that universe, Nebula could have been up to that point.
Where does Nebula line up now? Does she go back with Guardians? Is that where she was? Was she on the ship with Thor and
I can't
those
remember.
guys?
I'd have to
I'm
see it
pretty
again.
sure.
I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure. I thought, yeah, she was part of that with the Guardians.
I mean, the bad Nebula did blow up the plan by bringing his Thanos' spaceship through time.
Yeah.
Pretty bad, but I thought it was gonna be something different. Like I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, I like what they did with Nebula because, like, that's like from the Infinity like Gauntlet and like those stories. Like, she's the one that undoes his snap, and so it was like, how? I mean, do you do that? Like, I mean, like, would they just surprise everyone like in the film universe and being like they'll go that route and like why not let her do it? But I do love how much of a role she had. Where like I think it's just so cool because with this version and like their take where it's like she's so machine. Which
Yeah.
is not what she is in the comics. So I just love that. I'm like, what a cool way to play on her. And then they literally make her be this being of like, she is this weird like threat that we
Yes.
didn't know. And so by her being that, I love how much of a presence and important she was for this movie. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool that they gave her that, you know. And like that was, you know, like
The
everything that she
evolution,
had.
the evolution
That
of
was awesome.
Nebula is pretty impressive. Like,
Yeah,
giving
for
her
the film
meaning,
version,
giving her
exactly.
meaning, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Throughout those movies, I forget too. Like, when she was taking the, what is it, the Power Stone, the one that Quill took.
Mm-hmm.
Did Quill like get burned? Like when he did his thing, was it booby trap like that for Quill? When he grabbed it, like why was she getting burned?
From
When she went to what's the planet where Quill
It's
goes?
because
Morag.
Morag. It's because she stuck her hand through the force field.
How did
versus
Quill do it?
Quill, if you remember in Infinity War, he has that machine that sucks it down. It opens up like a pyramid,
Oh, okay.
and it sucked it out.
Oh, yep. Okay, yep. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, he had some type of gizmo.
yeah, it was like a little magnet thing, and he reused it on like the
Infinity War, Iron Man.
She
well,
just
like
sticks
the
her
little-
hand in there.
The
She doesn't
warriors
give a fuck.
that came to try to get him. Remember, he threw it on him, and they all got stuck, and that's how he
Right.
got away in the ship, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was that thing so easy to get though? I mean, that's a goddamn Infinity Stone. That should be harder to get.
I mean, maybe getting to the planet's the hard part, and they just off screen.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
You know. Sometimes it's a journey.
You should have made
Oh
that
my
one more
God.
like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
they
should've
made fun
been
of
way
it. They're
more
like,
stuff.
no, that was Rhodey, right? That was making fun of it. He's
Yeah,
like,
right.
no, there's about to be like spears and stuff
Yup.
coming up. And it's like, yeah, for whatever reason, there's not. It's like I could literally have, like get that with like a tongs if I went in there.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
maybe,
I mean? It's
and
really
maybe
not
it's
I mean,
because,
there's,
like,
it's hot. I
they
get
think
it.
that they're like there's not a lot of beings out there that have like space travel like that.
Is it
that
like
are looking for the stones.
a planet that no one knows about too? Is that a pretty like abandoned planet?
No,
Kind of like
'cause
Volmir kind of thing. Is it like
remember
that?
when he goes there, or when Quill goes there in Guardians 1,
Yeah.
and he puts out like that phaser thing that kind of like shows what the planet used to be.
Yeah.
So it was a planet at some point,
Huh.
but it was destroyed by
That's weird. I don't know. I
something.
feel like there's more to that planet that I like to know about. I said one of my favorite scenes in that movie was when Quill's singing, and then all of a sudden they go to what he sounds like outside of his headphones,
Right.
and you just come and get your
Yes,
and he just
yeah.
gets knocked out. I love that.
amazing.
That's so Peter Quill. Oh my god, just such an
Yeah.
idiot. That's so perfect,
Yeah, I loved it. I really liked the cap fight too.
dude. Hail Hydra in the elevator.
Oh my god,
That's genius, dude.
that was
Because
so
you're
good.
watching that and you're going,
Oh, they're gonna redo.
they're gonna redo that
Winter
scene exactly
Soldier.
where he goes, "Does anybody want to get out?" That's what you're kind of
Yeah.
thinking, and then he goes, "Hail Hydra," and you're like, "Oh my
Yeah, he goes,
god."
Don't worry,
lost it.
I talked to the secretary.
Yeah,
Oh, did you? Don't worry about it. Leans over.
Hydra.
Yeah, that was
great.
It was good.
That was so good.
There was a lot in this show that I didn't think would happen, because like everybody has like, oh, like you read theories, you read your comics, and you know what's supposed to happen, but like
Yeah.
I didn't expect Falcon to get the shield or become.
I remember you calling it before, though. You're like, I think he could take over. And for me, I never saw it. I just thought he was too comical.
But
He always came across kind of the funny guy.
He-
but I'm like, he fits. Like,
Yeah,
as
he
his
fits
like the
because he
evolution of
is
him, he's
Cap.
starting to fit.
He is a soldier. He's gone through the worst.
Yeah.
He's got Cap's
lost.
back, dude.
He is the
He left.
right guy. And like Joe was saying earlier, if they do go like Young Avengers, having him be like their guide would be really cool too. Like having him be the guy
Yep.
that they check in with, like, hey, we got to check in with Cap, and Cap's like doing something else with, whatever mission they're doing,
Right.
and they're like, oh, can we come with? And he's like, no, you guys aren't ready, and they
Yeah.
have to deal with their own thing. But I think that him taking over as Cap was a big surprise. I think Scarlett Johansson dying
Yeah.
Yeah. I
was a
didn't see
big
that.
surprise, because again, you see Hawkeye at the beginning of the movie lose his family. He loses all sorts.
When
of,
is
like,
her? What time period is
hers
her
is-
movie?
Hers
Prequel?
is prequel. Yeah.
all kind of probably like before Shield or
I
like
think-
early years
I think
of
they're
Shield.
gonna do Bangladesh or the Budapest,
Said like
Oh, okay.
the Budapest timeline. Because remember they
Okay.
even say it
Yeah.
like this is way different than Budapest. Like when they're
Yeah.
going in
So it's supposed to
space.
I like to see
Yeah,
that.
I know.
I like to
I
see
love
that
that.
stuff.
And they talk about like he saved my life in Budapest.
So is
thing.
Hawkeye coming up in that then too?
I
you
think so.
That'd
There's
be
no way
awesome.
they
I'd
don't.
love to see that, dude. That'd be sick.
should.
And I bet you she shows up in his Disney movie or Disney Channel.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
the Disney Plus like
Disney Plus,
It's gonna be amazing how they intertwine that, dude.
Mhm.
Just coordinating that
Yeah.
and organizing it and having it flow with movies, and
Yep.
they got their plan. They'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
I didn't expect Tony to have a kid. I wasn't expecting that.
I thought you'd have a kid for sure.
I
Just based off of Infinity War with the whole Morgan thing. Like I had a
Yeah.
dream. I was like, I thought it would happen in a different way. I thought maybe it was like in an alternate reality thing, and he was
Yeah.
like getting
I
that
thought,
sent to him through a
yeah.
dream, kind
That's
of.
what I thought too.
But I didn't think it was going to be in this
I
reality.
thought the kid would have like more of a role if they're
Yeah.
gonna introduce the kid, or I was like, oh, like it'll something, and then like that kid or whatever, and an alternate reality or something like is part of the mission and helping in
Yeah.
a certain
Yeah.
way. I just didn't think it'd be a thing of like 5 years later, and then like
Yeah.
a thing where it's like he went on, he had a family, and it's like, oh, okay.
I did
Like-
think it'd be a boy too, because in Infinity War he saw a boy in his dream.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like we had a boy. His name was Morgan. So when they changed up to a girl, I don't know. It's what I just figured it'd be a
Yeah.
guy, but I don't know. I like that whole storyline.
Yeah. I did expect them to have Hulk be smart
Yeah.
Hulk,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I didn't expect them to keep him in that form the whole movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I also think that they kind of did that because it was easier just to have him stay in it than having to like change him like for scenes. Like have him be Bruce and then change
just-
him when
but
he
that-
goes in.
You could show it. You just wouldn't show it. You know what I mean? You could just be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I just transformed."
But that's
yeah,
the
but that
point,
would have
like-
sucked.
But yeah,
'cause,
that
like,
would've
everybody
been
loves
lazy.
seeing that.
He's either, but that's the point of having Smart Hulk is that he's
Yeah.
not turning into Bruce. So
Right,
that's an
right.
evolution of that character where it's
Right.
like he is just that. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is. And I don't know. That's what.
It worked though, dude.
I don't
Like
think there's any
at
part
first,
though There's no lab coat, and that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I fucking love, dude. He wears his lab coat.
He
and
never
he's like,
wore the
"That's so
lab coat when
goofy."
they were doing trials and stuff on the quantum realm stuff.
No,
Well,
he's wearing like
and
sweaters and like.
he
cool,
should have. That's the
almost
perfect
like
time to
Puma.
do it.
I know, right?
I mean, he doesn't have to do it the whole
I'm
movie,
like,
but
he's
when
gonna
you're
be in a
actually
lab
doing
coat,
experiments,
and that'd be like hilarious. And it's just like,
it
no, he
was-
just wore like cool jumpsuits.
Yeah, when they send him out into New York, and they're like, "You got to go smash some stuff," and he goes,
Yeah, dude.
"Ah," and he's
Yeah,
like
like,
banging
he's, like,
like
not
a
into it,
car
like,
through a
ah.
motorcycle. So I was like, okay, so he's lost that aggression to a degree.
yeah.
And then when Black Widow dies, I thought he was gonna go nuts. Like I thought for sure that would have been like his snapping point, and like he would still be Bruce, but it would be more Hulk than Bruce.
No,
And,
I
like,
think
right
it's,
now
I think
it's-
it's set. Like he's set in like Bruce
Right.
Banner.
Well, I'm not saying he wouldn't still have control, but like
Right, but it would
his
set him
emotional
off.
side would be more Hulk response
Right.
than like Bruce being the straight narrow mind being like, hey, be calm and cool and collected.
Mhm.
So I thought when she died, like he throws the bench off into the water.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need more from Hulk being upset about like somebody he loved.
I don't think you're gonna get it. I think that's Banner's mentality now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
He, like,
Banner's
gets Hulk's
the one
body
that
and-
loved her.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah,
like
but he
Banner
doesn't have the
has
aggression like
strength
Hulk
of
naturally.
too.
Yeah.
So like that's why I was like, it made sense because he's like calmer and he has control
Mhm.
and like that's what they were trying to push. But I also wanted to see him lose it just a little bit.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
I would have
show
liked to see
him-
it more.
And then show himself like take control back, or not take control, but like bring himself back to like
yeah.
medium. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, because he said in what was it, the first Avengers, I'm always angry,
Yeah.
and in this one, he's never angry
Mhm.
until she dies. But then it's like, it's
Mhm.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he throws,
Then
like,
that-
he throws a bench.
You know, like Hawkeye was more upset. You know, and he got to see her die there and all that stuff, and he was the one that could have saved her and taken her place.
Part of that too is like that's a big time gap though from when they were like, you know, what I mean, he's probably might have just lost a little. I mean, he was
Yeah.
on Ragnarok. I mean, he's been through a lot. I just don't know how much they've even like. Do they even say like Hulk's been Banner's just kind of been doing his own thing in the past 5 years, right? Like he hasn't even been at like Avengers
Yeah, no,
headquarters or anything like that. Like he's just
he was
doing
in
his
the
own
lab.
thing.
Remember, he was just in the lab
Yeah,
getting
he's in his
himself
lab.
better.
Yeah.
Because he said after Thanos came the first time, being the big guy, we had to figure some stuff out. So I think I wanted a little bit more from that. And then on the during the final battle, I would have loved to see him go hand to hand with Thanos again, because they
Yeah.
didn't really repay that
Yeah.
for him just getting tatted up. And then like everybody thought, hey,
I thought that would happen too.
because you in Infinity War, you're like, oh, he's afraid of Thanos, he doesn't want to come back out.
Mhm.
And then you had to hear from like the Russo brothers and saying like, no, it's like an inner divide
Yeah.
between the two. And now, okay, they fixed that, so now he should be saying, hey, Bruce, let's go get the guy that beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know you have control, but like, hey, you help me, I help you, kind of thing. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. Like, and like that's what Joe was talking about. Like, Hulk still does talk to Banner.
Does he though?
Like they have certain times where they will talk to each other.
That's the thing. Again, how they gave it to us in this film version, we don't
It's
know
like-
because it's their version.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is it is like it's like this weird, like I would imagine it being like dark, like going into yourself.
Yep.
And being dark, and it's like these. You see Bruce and you see Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's them having conversations of like, hey, like,
Yeah.
we got to blah blah blah, and like that's the thing. We don't get that. We don't get
Yep.
this self,
Yep.
like internal monologue.
Yep.
And that is what Smart Hulk is. And that's what's cool about it. But yeah,
The only thing
like
I
said,
wonder about
film
is
version,
like
we don't get it.
when the ancient one like separated the two. Like you think there'd be like a Hulk mentality.
Exactly, but
He's not
she
there.
Just made
It's
him
just Banner.
unconscious. Yeah,
Oh, I guess
like
he
she
could
kept
be
Hulk
in the body.
unconscious, and kept him in his astral projected self.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. You just have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and
I have
again,
no idea.
I think they really are shackled by what they can do with Hulk because of the rights to him and the CGI behind like creating that transformation from a human character into a monster.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, they did the same thing in Infinity where they had him show up and he was the Hulk, and then he lands on Earth in the with Doctor Strange, and he's like basically Bruce Banner painted green, you know.
Right.
And then he doesn't come back again other than to scream no, and then that was it.
Right.
So in this one, I really just wanted to see them. Like I didn't want him to win. I didn't want him to like knock Thor or Thanos out. But I just wanted
to
him
have
to
that
be like-
moment. Yeah,
I just wanted him to
exactly.
fight.
Little redemption, just be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, dude, like just a little more.
Right.
Even if something happens again, that like something happens and he's taken out, maybe one of like another factor comes in, like one of the children or something, like they come in and like take him out or something.
Yeah.
You know, like to like something to show that he finally got a little bit of an edge on
Yes.
Thanos.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, you're right. Like we didn't even get
We
that
didn't get
type of
anything
moment.
there.
Yeah,
Because the
that's
whole
true.
thing with like him getting
Yeah.
beat up last time, they're like it comes down to just like a thing of skill. Like Hulk is like fighting without skill. He's a brute,
Right.
but like people are mad because they're like he shouldn't have got beat up that easily. And it's like I mean he's just as strong as Thanos for the most part.
Yeah.
At least I think. But like his fighting style,
Yeah, it's
just he just got out.
he sees red.
It's pure. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
rage. It's a baby throwing a
Yeah,
tantrum.
and
That is what
that's-
Hulk is.
Yep.
Throwing tantrums.
I think it would have been really
There's no
awesome at some
strategy.
point in that fight at the end to just hear and see Hulk jump as high as he can in the air, not like the first Hulk, like the horrible one where he's just jumping continents basically,
Oh,
but like jump super high in the air and then he just comes down and yells Hulk smash, hits the ground and then just
Yeah, dude.
devastates.
yeah, that would have been a cool scene.
I mean,
Right.
that would have been so awesome. Kind of like, you know, how Black Panther's running through with the gauntlet
Yeah.
and he's getting hit,
His
and then
kinetic stuff.
and then
yeah.
he lands and just goes
Yeah.
Mhm.
like that would have been cool to see that with Hulk in a different form,
Yeah.
or like instead of Ant-Man kind of stomping down on the big guy, having Hulk like end him with a smash.
Yeah,
And,
literally
like,
flatten
throw
him with a
Peter or
fist.
something like
Yeah.
that. Because do we see Hulk and Spider-Man interact at all?
No.
And that's
There's nothing,
that's a
yeah.
cool interaction too when you see that in comics and in you
Yeah.
know anything like that. And we didn't really get to see
Yeah.
that. I mean, I think they paired up everybody else. I think everybody else kind of really interacted with each other. But like not having Spider-Man and Hulk interact,
Yeah.
they missed an opportunity because you could have just had him like lasso him or whatever and
Right.
like toss like
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
definitely.
iconic stuff that comes with Hulk.
yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say too.
They kind of took him out of the equation. And
Yeah.
all.
I was gonna say too. I thought there might be a cameo of somebody from Fox, but I'm also glad they didn't put that in there.
Oh yeah.
From
Just like from now that they have
If they
bought
could've
Fox,
said
they could have
something-
put any cameo in there, or a cameo of something.
oh yeah, yeah
I don't
yeah.
think. I mean,
I'm glad they didn't because that would kind of take away from this guy's story, their story.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't need to do that, but like Joe says, you don't need a character. Show a building or something. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah.
Or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Something not actually human.
I think like everybody's so focused on like X-Men, and I think we're like X-Men is definitely the next project in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That like Kevin Feige, it's like that's already confirmed. It's like, oh yeah, I'm like stepping away and like walking away from all this.
Yeah.
And like, damn, dude, like the dude this is all his baby. But then it's like he ain't ever done
No.
because he got roped in. Then it's like, no, I'm actually doing X-Men. So you're like,
Yeah.
you're still here.
They should have, when they're doing that B-roll of like the city after the 5 years and how everything is devastated, shown the mansion.
I mean, that's the thing. Like we
They
know
could've
that's
done-
coming. I personally though, like, I
Or
don't
like
wanna see
maybe just
X-Men.
a sign, like
It's a hard,
like in
yeah,
the ground.
I know.
You
It's
know,
just-
like nothing.
The X-Men is something where that's a hard one, but I only think because again we need to explore more of this multiverse.
Mhm.
Because all I know is like X-Men do not fit in with the MCU as
No.
we knew it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then emphasis on knew it.
Yeah,
Because this is not MCU going forward. Is not what we've known.
yeah,
So again, we need to explore and like hopefully that will come because there's a lot of stuff we don't know about this multiverse stuff,
mm-hmm.
and that's where like they got their work cut out for them because you can't tell me that it's like the whole core of the mutants and stuff is just like prejudice, blah blah, blah this and that. But I'm like, dude, like that's whack because why should people like Hulk? Why should people like some of these characters? I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people like Hulk, but I mean, like, come on, like even Captain America, like why you like that guy that has something injected in him and makes
Yeah.
him better than you?
Yeah,
But someone just natural abilities and they can maybe help you, but you're just like, still get away from me, freak. It doesn't work. It really
Yeah.
doesn't. And it's sad because like they didn't get to be a part of this birth of the universe. So to get to a point where like that'll come down the pipeline, that's going to be a test. But I think there's more to like the multiverse. You know, where like now I think because of things how they were tampered, we definitely are in a time where it's like, yeah, mutants do exist. We just don't
Mhm.
know how that plays out yet. For me though, I was like, man, if you can sit there and like go back to the events of New York and just to see like some moment of like acknowledging
The Quinjet or
the
something.
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
To
yeah,
acknowledge, like I'm like, there's still got to be something there where like I love all the cool scenes we got of like this is stuff we didn't know was going on, but like the aftermath of like once they take Loki in,
Mm.
that was cool. Where it's like they're all going like, no, we're going to elevator. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you'll never do this. Take the stairs. That's funny. Like seeing all that different
Yep.
stuff. I love. I'm like,
I hate
dude, there's got to be
stairs.
some. Yeah, it's like there's got to be something like Fantastic Four where I'm like, they've been there all along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
Star Trek. They have to be the Star Trek of the MCU when they do eventually get to them. And I just feel like how sick would it be if like just to throw a shock at everyone, like they've always been around.
Do they do time travel at all? I can't think of a
Fantastic Four stuff.
Yeah. Are they big in that? Not really, right?
I mean, with Kang came out of Kang was something birthright again, dude. Fantastic Four, they gave us everything.
Yeah.
Black Panther was born from there. Their interactions with Spider-Man, like there's all this stuff where like every big character as you know it, they all came from a Fantastic Four comic book. They were literally like Marvel's family and like first everything.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. I'm like, yeah, you could have maybe done that just to gives us to be like, they just acknowledged. You know what I mean? It's like there it is. They just acknowledge and like we know what's coming. That cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad everything was focused on like this is wrapping
story.
up this era. But trust me, like when I'm like, for me, X-Men will be great, but Fantastic Four is gonna dominate when they finally get them right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be so much stuff that like they're gonna be involved. And Reed he's got his hands in everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I cannot wait till we get that. Doctor Doom's gonna blow people away. Galactus is the next big thing that everything will lead to.
Yeah, and that's
we'll get characters and big arcs and stuff still in there, but it's Galactus.
And that's going to be Captain Marvel's big bad, because she's too powerful for anything that is we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Any villain that we have seen in any of these movies, she is one-shotting those guys instantly.
It's too easy.
Yeah, it's way too easy. I mean, even her like origin story was like once she figured out that she was a badass, it was kind of like that's game over.
I know. She does have to get more personality though, I think. She is so
It's very dry.
It's very dry. It's kind of a Bucky thing of like I was brainwashed. It's like even less person. It's just so straightforward. Like I'm gonna kick their ass.
Yeah, but
that's all there is to it. I'm gonna kick their ass.
It doesn't even fit because like
I know
she should be cultured, right? She's been on different planets, different.
I know. It's like you can have a little bit of a personality. You've seen all these things and you have no personality.
She should be like the melting pot of like what she's seen and heard and found and everything, and she should know how the threats of like the universe should be handled. Don't underestimate them and know your own abilities, but like she was underestimating Thanos.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like her character.
I don't either.
I never liked her, and I'm like, I wasn't too thrilled that we're like, we're getting Captain Marvel. I'd be like, she's a poop character. Good luck. I mean, honestly, if what she needs is someone that just has a take, and what we've gotten with Thor, what we've gotten with a lot of these characters,
you got to soft reboot her already.
Exactly. With her, it's just do something that like Brie Larson is a good actress, but then there's things where I'm like, it's really sad to say, but I'm like, she's a miscast. Like, she's not fitting in with this universe. Already on top of, like, the source material, which is, like, Captain Marvel's not a good character. And that is my problem with, like, Marvel right now is, like, oh, my God, is it just fake hype? Being like, you'll love Captain Marvel. And be like, why don't you just be frank and honest with people? Like, she's a poop character. How many times has she been rebooted in comics? I mean, literally, the source material, it shows it, where I'm just like, nobody likes that character. She's like that in their interactions with those characters. And, like, in the comics, in the cartoons, there's always thing like, she sucks. She's annoying. She's kind of condescending. She's all this stuff that it's like, why you root for her? You don't. And then her abilities, she has anything when it's just convenient. She's too powerful.
Yep.
I mean, the movie, like, definitely we've gone compared with stuff in
Phase
cartoons.
4, like you say.
Yeah.
When you're facing Galactus,
and I
then
think
then it makes sense. It's a challenge. I want to see. I don't want to see someone just.
But by that point,
there's
there's even more stuff we're getting though, because at that point, what X-Men?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much cool stuff. The Avengers will come, like with the X-Men tied in, the Internals. I mean, all the stuff.
Yeah, the
it's
Internals
gonna
will be
take
awesome.
everybody for like that. Again, we'll get another build up,
Yeah.
and then it'll be cool to see like for Galactus, and I don't know, like all that stuff comes, but. Yeah, it's just that's why I'm like, it's sad to say, but I'm like, I don't know how much
crazy.
they can take of this. Where I'm like, do they get a point where they're like, maybe we recast at some point? I'm saying
it's
like,
hard though when the
that's
movie,
hard to
her movie
that
made so much money.
It's
you know
hard
what I mean? The movie's successful.
Yeah.
Like I'm not big on her, but I mean, it's hard to like get rid of someone when the movie.
I'm not knocking that movie.
No, I mean it's a Marvel movie. It's not no Marvel movie's bad.
Yeah, and I think
exactly.
they did a good job with it. I think it was it was a good. I liked it better than some of the other. Like the first Thor, wasn't really thrilled about the first Thor.
I think if you compare it, that's what you got to compare it to because it's the first of that franchise, it's probably just as good as those as if not better than some of them.
Yep.
Because
I want to see like I said, I'm like now you got James Gunn back.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I want to see him being like I got a take for her, and like that's what I want to see. I want to see somebody. I'm like give it to someone like that.
Yeah.
Where like what he did with Guardians. It's not necessarily like true Guardians either.
Right.
Like he took a lot of liberties and like it worked.
I think
Thor now, what we've gone with him, I'm just like we need that with Captain Marvel. But I'm like I know someone like a James Gunn.
Yeah, just someone that loves that character and has like a lot of heart that can do their own thing with it that they want to see. I'm like I got to see some passion.
Fine, but that's the first time in a long time we felt that was a check the box.
It was
Yeah.
a check the
And now
box,
we-
and it
now
was
we
it
get
was a
Endgame.
box that you didn't have to check.
Exactly.
You could have waited. You could have waited.
Yeah, she
I would have
didn't have to
introduced
be
in
there.
Phase 4. I keep
No.
saying that. Introduce him like
She
you say. There's more to
She
come.
could have started it. She could have started
Yeah.
Phase 4.
Yes.
She could have been the first
I'm
character.
just let these guys
She
finish
could've
out their
gone
story.
cosmic.
Yeah.
And obviously with her, we gotta go cosmic.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge
That was a
installment.
rush.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But I mean, like,
yeah.
who else would we put there? Like, if we don't have Captain Marvel, who else?
You
would
don't
we
need to
put
have
there?
that movie. I mean, it's a month before this movie. You could have just waited. You could have waited one more month.
Yeah, but I want one more movie.
I mean,
But I like I
I'm
say though, I
greedy.
mean,
I'm
it
greedy.
was only a month before it. You really, I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice to have it because it held us over. I feel like,
Yeah.
but like you didn't need it.
if it wasn't,
you
a
could
mess,
just
If
waited.
it hadn't been no mess with James Gunn or whatever. I mean, maybe we would have gotten a volume 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you needed
was
Gamora.
Really, that was
you
really
needed
delayed.
Gamora to be alive.
No, I okay. So I'm saying like maybe you restructure the release dates for this year.
Oh yeah, so this
So
one came out when
maybe-
Captain Marvel did,
Yep.
and then we have Guardians
or
3.
just not even like maybe because if you look at it, we got her in last month and we have like this now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying maybe you do a thing where it's like in Endgame, we get Spider-Man summer, you end fall with Guardians. Give us that
Yeah.
or like around the holiday,
and then
something like
she's like
November.
the sprinkle in, like she's like the teaser pager thing.
Yeah,
at the end of
I
Guardians
mean,
or
just something else where it's
Yeah.
like just wasn't neat. But like I said, like the James Gunn stuff, that kind of gets muddled.
Yep.
Where like I mean, you look at it now, it's like that's such a delay to like 2021 or who knows.
Yeah, but he was still working on a script. It's great. Don't
Well,
worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just something like that where you're just like, I don't know, like I don't really think there's any other installment like they really needed to.
Yeah.
To do.
Nobody
It's
else would
just
have
not
made a
necessary-
difference
not
for
necessary.
fighting Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, I like Captain Marvel, but the film could have waited. Just do it after.
Yeah,
Just
I
do it
agree,
after.
I
The
agree.
movie's fine. The movie's good,
Yeah.
but just wait till after.
Yeah.
Endgame.
And the other thing I heard, I was listening to New Rockstars.
Yeah.
They do reviews and stuff like that. So they were talking about how the final phase of Phase 3 is going to
Spider-Man.
be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that movie actually takes place like days after
Oh yeah.
Right.
Thanos is defeated. And so they were saying, like, how is it
Yeah, because
possible?
I just saw a new clip of them like going to school for
Yeah.
the first time, like right after it all,
Yes.
and he sees, or was that in
That was a
Endgame?
movie.
That was in
And-
Endgame.
and-
Okay,
and-
okay.
He's Ned.
But that
He's
that
Ned,
shows
and
you
it's,
how
like,
it's
really
gonna
emotional,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like,
wind into.
was Ned alive? Like, or were they all dead? Because they can't be in school anymore. It's been 5 years.
That's
so
that's
the whole high school had to have died.
I think there was another time jump or something. There's no way school's already back in session after.
Well, it wouldn't make sense. Like, all those kids would have had to die and then come back for them to be the same age as Peter, and him to go back to school. Otherwise, like, all his friends are
Holy-
graduated,
Dude, you're right.
right?
You're right. Yeah, you're 100% right.
like,
Half
there's-
those kids would have been old, dude.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be. They wouldn't
5 years
be
is out of high school.
unless the.
for
I mean,
sure.
it might. Ned would have had to have got dusted for him to be the same age as.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the other kids could just be in that grade now.
But
You know,
what's
they
that
might
grade?
not- they might-
Super senior. What
No,
were
no,
they,
they're
freshmen?
they're different kids that are just like. Yeah, I guess there'd be a
Yeah,
year where there's no kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
so
a
that
really
whole high
good point,
school-
bro. I
so
don't
all
know.
of
I've
the
never thought of
main
that.
and I'm sure they'll touch on it because they don't leave big plot holes.
There's
like-
no way they're all dead though.
They don't leave big plot holes. Like,
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
thought, like, there's not been one movie that we've watched that's like, God, they missed an entire, like, there's a
That is a really good point because Mary Jane, if she didn't get dusted, she'd be 20.
right.
He's like what,
Yeah.
16 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be
Yeah,
21.
Yeah.
16.
So she would have had to get dusted. Ned would have had to get dusted.
Yeah.
The
And you
bully.
see-
Yeah,
you
all
see
those
Flash,
kids.
you
Come
see
on,
them
you.
all.
Yeah,
I don't know.
dude.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
what's your thing about? What's your big thing on Peter? He's awesome. Or
I
what's your
haven't heard
Spider-Man?
anybody bring that up, but that's a good point.
Yeah, and so that's not even my thing. Again, I heard that on New
Oh, yeah,
Rockstars.
yeah. Okay,
Yep.
well, that's.
Yep.
I never thought about that
Yeah.
then.
So I don't want to take credit for it, but I definitely, when they said it, I was like trying to figure it out, and I had the same look at Joe ass right now, like trying to.
Yeah, I
figure
think they might have screwed that up a little bit.
Dude,
And,
it's
like-
time travel. That time travel stuff. There's so much you just have to like bite your tongue and just go with the
Yeah.
gist of stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
but no, he's got a
Way
point though.
too
I mean,
much. I
there's
mean,
a-
yeah. I don't know how. I don't. Yeah.
don't know
No
how you can
idea how you explain
explain
this
it.
stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
I mean, I'm fine with just like batting my eyes and being like, oh,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
I don't care.
No,
But
no.
I mean, like you say, I think
if
that
they're
would,
gonna say
that would make
this
sense.
is post the second snap or post the third snap, they have to explain how. Like, they have to do something. And again, I think they will. And like, it might be just like they did with the time travel. They might give you a brief, brush over. You'll accept it, and we'll move
Yeah.
forward. Like, it's not going to be like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm
Oh,
upset. Like, you're fine. So, but yeah, like when I heard that, I was like, wow. Like, what? How are they gonna?
Yeah.
How are they gonna do this?
Hmm.
Yeah, and maybe with Mysterio, because he is like an illusionist. Whoa,
Illusionist.
illusionist. I don't
How are
know.
they gonna do that? Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I was trying to think
about
about that all last
quick
night.
how they could fix that.
Yeah.
I don't know. How they could fix that.
It's like,
I don't know.
yeah, dude, I'm stumped.
Yeah.
I literally have I don't even have like an idea. Like, I don't even have like,
Right.
oh yeah, maybe they did this.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't know. Yeah. Time travel.
Right. Right.
It's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, even like Days of Future Past and that kind of stuff. Like, that's such a crazy time travel story.
Yeah.
But even that one, like when they got to it and did it in the films, it was a good way for them just kind of like soft reboot their
Yep.
universe because they have screwed up continuity so many times.
Yep.
But then that's when you're just like, yeah, time travel is just so murky.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's like that's always hard to accomplish, like on film,
Yeah.
and especially with like when you're dealing with continuity like this. Yeah,
I think one
that's
of the-
true. I don't know.
There's only been a couple movies that have done a good job at it, and like one that comes to mind for me is Looper. Like
Yeah.
that did a good with like the time.
I mean, it's
travel
hard
stuff.
because I don't think it's not even a proven concept.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right,
literally made up because we
Right.
don't have it figured out.
Like
So it's not.
Interstellar,
It
like
literally, if
fourth
it's not
dimension.
figured out, and we can't. I mean, there's theories for it, but if you can't figure it out, you
Mhm.
can only do so much.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that was like my one thing that I was just thinking of.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, right.
we'll see.
Hey, what's up, Dad? Mary Jane.
Yeah.
This is old.
MJ. They're all
I-
21. That would be a great movie, though. If they're all older, I'd watch that, dude.
I think what they'll
got
do
no
is they'll just
friends.
take that group and they'll say they all died and like the rest of the high school didn't.
Yeah.
And, like that high school went and moved forward and like they're still in the same grade.
They can make fun of it too. Like literally, if that core group comes back and they're like, "Damn, all these kids got old," or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, you can make fun of it, and you don't need anybody else besides the core group. So those are the only ones that need to be dusted.
I was gonna say something like, will they know that they had died and like come back? But obviously, because they're not pulling like a Men in Black and like flashing everybody's memories to think that this didn't happen, because everybody freely speaks about Thanos.
Yeah, it'll get out. I mean, I think everybody right now, it's like Peter Parker just thought he passed out. But I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, it'll get around like, hey, you guys were dusted. Like
Yeah.
we did some time travel shit. We brought you back. You like, don't worry about it.
The weird thing is like Ned, their interaction when they see each other is emotional.
Yeah.
Ned
Mhm.
like has a look, and that's where you're just kind of like
He
that's
was
where I
alive.
was sitting there. I'm like, like they have to know.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Because
know for
hi-
sure.
But
I
that's what I'm
mean,
saying.
they know.
Ned's reaction is like, dude, like he is so concerned of like and like bring it in. You know what I mean? That you're like, oh shit.
It
Like,
almost
that's a
looked
heavy
like
beat.
Ned was alive, missing Peter, and Peter comes back, and Ned's like, "Oh my God, you're here," but it's been
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, or just taking it in to be like, dude, what happened to us?
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
a
yeah.
fear of like, I
Yeah.
don't know what happened. It was gone, and then we're back.
Yeah.
That's why I'd be like, how he sells that. You're just like, dang, dude, like
Or
that's
like,
a heavy
yeah, I
beat.
was-
Like him
I
take-
mean,
I'm-
either way, those events up until the snap happened. So
Yeah.
everyone's like going
everyone
through
has to
that
address-
shit.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to address
Whether you
it
died
post-
or got snapped, it's like we all went through a fucking lot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And we're back. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild, dude. Fucking wild.
Did you guys? Because I think Doug, you were kind of like saying things while we were watching the movie, like how they were setting up. Oh, they're gonna send out guys like to go get certain stones throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that being a thing? Like we knew there was gonna be time travel.
Like they had missions to get the stones.
Right. Did you think they were going to do missions, or were you expecting them to go back and just fight Thanos at a different time period?
I don't know. Personally, I had read theories of them going back and like collecting the stones.
Okay.
None of it really ended up being what it was. It's all
Mhm.
like modification of what actually happened.
Right.
So I thought with the quantum realm and time travel, I figured they were going to go back and get stones.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just from like the set photos of Tony and Captain and Ant-Man back in New York. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they're
Yeah.
probably going to go back and get the stones. So
Yeah.
I did think that was going to happen.
I definitely thought that they were going to go back and try to
Mhm.
stop Thanos from like the
Mm.
snap, but then like they even explained to you how that wouldn't change their timeline.
Yeah.
Like they
So-
say, hey, if you go back and you stop the snap, it doesn't happen in that timeline, but ours it
Yeah.
already happened.
So I'll say this, like, up until they explained how your reality doesn't change by going to the past, I had like the Back to the Future
yep.
concept in my mind. Like
Yep.
I like that's how I always thought time travel worked, because that's basically
You
what they
were-
said. That's how every movie works. So I would think most people going into that movie
Yeah.
thought like if they go back in time, their reality is. So I
You
even
were
thought
Ant-Man.
I thought at one time like the snap might not even happen because they go back into the past, they change something or they defeat Thanos back then, but then maybe all those Avengers, like the realities that we know,
Yeah.
like disappear,
Yeah.
and then there's like a new branch. That's what I kind of thought, because I was like I just didn't know how they were going to do it going off of that time travel theory of
Yeah.
like when you go back in the past, your future changes. So I was like, I don't know how you can time, but then they explained
They
it.
explained it. I mean, again,
Because your reality would
terms,
have to change. Like
Yeah.
it's like when Marty McFly comes back and his parents are like playing tennis. They're not like alcoholics.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
thought it was going to be like that.
Yeah. And and then the reason why I thought it would be like that is because after I found out that Tony had a daughter, I thought that he was going to have to make a decision whether or not to keep the life he has
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
reset it, get Peter back.
Yeah,
and
I
never
totally
have a
thought. I thought
daughter.
everything was just going to get reset. Like
Yep.
it was going to be a totally different outcome than Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
They somewhere along the line before the snap, they killed Thanos, and then that's why I thought like with the Spider-Man trailers too. I'm like everything looks like back to normal so quick,
Right.
and I'm like everything has to like. There was destruction. There had to be planes that went down. There had to be like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It just seemed like too normal.
So they had
For-
that whole fight scene at the Avengers complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
How big is that Avengers
It's
complex?
huge.
Okay.
It's
Like big enough to never, like, it's not running into any kind of city or.
No, I think it's off the grid, dude.
Okay.
It is.
It's off the
yeah.
grid.
Okay.
It's a big chunk of land off the grid.
Okay.
But
'Cause I was just like-
that was cool. I'm like, you guys don't have to blow up a city. You
It was
can
like a
just
continent.
Mm.
It was basically
Well,
they
I
just
mean, you
fighting on
see
their
how
own.
big Thanos' ship
Well,
is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that thing is like it like dwarfed
Yeah.
the Asgardian ship, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that thing is like literally got to be like the size of a country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like anything that they've shown from like marketing and stuff and like everything from trailers, I would have never thought that was just the Avengers complex that like, you know, blown to crap and everything and like what it was rubble, because everything about it I was just like, I don't know where they're going, but like with the time travel and stuff, and I'm like, this one I expect to be cosmic. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what planet that is.
Yeah. I
but,
thought.
I mean, then when it all happens, I'm like, oh dang, like all the rubber, like we're on Earth.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I
cool.
thought what was going to happen was, so like, I was talking to it with a buddy at work, and we kind of had like our own, like, how the movie was going to play out.
Yeah.
Like, you have that not opening scene, but where they're talking about, like, we got to go stop Thanos. Like,
Mm.
he's going to use the stones again
Mhm.
or whatever. And I thought they're going to be talking about that, and Thanos is going to be, like, watching them
Mhm.
with some stone,
Mhm.
like Space Stone or whatever, see that they're going to go stop him. He just shows up.
Right.
And, like, she's cocky, and she just gets, or Captain Marvel is
Yeah.
cocky, and she just gets put to bed.
Yeah.
Like, one-shotted, holy crap.
that would have been nice.
And then they're like, whoa. Like, even she was, like, not a match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have Thor yet, right? Because he's gone being a drunk and fat person,
Mhm.
right? But, like, in my head, you didn't know that because you saw him in all the trailers,
Mhm.
or for the most part.
Yeah, even on
Yeah.
the movie poster, he was like fit Thor.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
fat
no,
Thor.
there's
They
nothing in
totally
it. So-
tried to perceive him to
Yeah.
be normal.
So I thought that he was going to come there in the early stages and just demolish the Avengers, like,
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
going to have to go back in time before they
so
were
you kind of
attacked.
thought maybe when they were outside and they were looking up, that could have been like Thanos coming.
So I knew that was...
Or no, when they're inside and
Yeah.
they see the light.
And, like,
Yeah,
you
because
see,
I thought
like-
I thought for sure that was
Yeah, like
Tony.
an
I knew it was
attack,
Tony.
yeah.
Like that played out exactly how I thought. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
Captain Marvel would save him.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, who
Yeah.
else is going to save him? And then she'll bring him back. And when they're looking up in the sky, it's Tony returning in the ship. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could read.
I knew that too. The only person that they cut out in that trailer was Potts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but didn't they
and I
show
liked
it
that.
like in one of the last
There's
trailers?
a last teaser.
And I
Like,
didn't
the
see
last
it.
teaser
I
spot.
didn't
They have to
see it.
show that.
Yeah,
So I was
Like gives
super
away that it's
pumped.
probably Tony if she's like looking.
Yeah,
At, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I know. So
Like,
then I
don't
was
show
like,
that.
because that's the two theories where I'm like, it would be kind of badass to see her wear that Iron Rescue, and then it's like,
Rescue?
Yeah, like, she actually is the one that ends
Rescue.
up going out and being like, I'm gonna go get him.
Yeah.
But you know, then that's the thing where you're just like, okay, like they're doing that, and then that TV spot totally ruined it. So I was like, oh, you like just put that to
Right.
Yeah.
bed. We're like, we all know it's Captain Marvel confirmed
Yeah.
for sure now
Yeah.
because you just did reveal. It's like, yep, we CG like totally just removed her with like their little tricks.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah,
Getting back to that whole thing though, like I thought where the battle took place at Avengers headquarters or whatever, I thought that getting back to my thing, I thought that was like back in New York, but the nuke went off and like it was a different reality and they were actually fighting Thanos and that and then it was gonna veer off after that. That's what I thought. I was like, man, they're in New York and the nuke actually went off. Like we're
Yeah.
seeing a different reality.
I thought that was going to happen too, just based off of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
If you watch his, like, little scene, he's, like, jumping through it. He, like, jumps off a pencil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And all that. So I was like, okay, he's in an office.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, it's going to be New York.
Mhm.
So I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I was thinking New York. Which that would have been a cool take too of like
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. That would have been like I say, I'm totally happy with how it played out. I'm not going to even try to come up with my own.
I kind of wish, like, Tony would have met himself a little bit.
And like
And, like, fought Iron Man to Iron Man. Like, I think that would have been kind of cool. like I don't know how they would have been able to play that off or get that in there, but like I thought that would like the scene where Pepper Potts and Tony Stark are fighting back to back together, and it's just like I was like, oh.
That was
Oh, it's so cool!
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't even handle it. I was like, there was like so many moments, like
Yeah.
when Thor smashes his hammer and his axe together, and Tony's back opens up, and he takes that charge, and all the lasers come up.
I forgot about that. That was
and
sick.
then Thanos is just spinning his freaking sword, like and just do. I was like, oh, what are you, a
dude.
Jedi, dude?
I know.
What the heck?
Bro,
Like, how
you're
are
like,
you doing
wow,
that?
Thanos is actually
Yeah,
pretty
no,
fucking
he
quick.
is a veteran fighter, like
Killer.
Yeah,
He's a
killer.
killer.
He's been through this.
But yeah, that scene where Thor called for both Stormbreaker and Mjolnir was
and his-
epic.
and
Just-
like his beard
just
even
puts
like
his hand
braided
up.
up,
Yeah,
and everything.
dude, everything
His
about
hair.
it, like full, just like went right into like a Viking,
God.
straight up Viking.
And it
I
made
love the
sense
braid.
because of like, is it Thor 1 or 2 where he like calls back his hammer and he gets all his powers back? Or no, that's, dang, what movie is that one in? You know when he like gets sent down?
Oh yeah, Thor 1.
What
Is it Thor
yeah.
1?
No,
No,
when he beats the destroyer, dude,
or
and he gets
Avengers? Avengers
Oh, it was
one, when
Avengers,
he gets
wasn't it?
like because he shoots down that containment that,
was
for
supposed
Hulk.
to be for Hulk. Yeah, and then
And they
he
all
like,
have their moment of like suit up, you know,
Yep.
like getting it together, just
Yep.
like we gotta go fight.
he
or
loses his
whatever,
powers,
so.
gets his powers back in Thor 1 though.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
but
he
I
does
was-
have that where like he once he has the hammer and stuff,
and then
he,
his
like,
all his
draws.
Asgardian armor comes back.
I think
So-
you're more thinking of like Avengers 1.
Yeah,
They
that's
do a
definitely
great
what I'm
shot
thinking
of
about.
that, just like
Yeah,
it's like the first time because they didn't really do that effect in the
No,
first Thor.
no.
So
But,
yeah,
like,
that you're like that's cool.
It made sense in this movie too, because you're like, oh yeah, he's done that before.
Yep.
But if they would have just done that, I've been like, how? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's a god, and yeah, it's thunder and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
how?
Mhm.
You know. So I like that they use that. Like, they did such a good job at like planting like little itty bitty things that you're like, man, it's not a big deal that we know any of this stuff.
Mhm.
But like, it makes like it believable on like the grander scale of things, like how again, like when he calls the hammer and all his armor comes there, because he's standing there in like sweatsuit stuff, and you're like,
Yeah, right.
really? Is he gonna fight in a sweatsuit?
Yeah, dude, Big Lebowski.
Like, come on.
It reminded me of like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus when he like
Yeah.
gains all that weight. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
what
actually.
the hell is this? I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Also, like just getting back to all the little references, like the Jarvis reference.
Oh, the Jarvis reference was
so awesome,
Dude, I didn't know that act. I had never watched Peggy Carter, so I think
He's
that's
in,
something-
he's in
the
it?
TV
Okay.
series.
He is the
Okay.
Peggy Carter. Yeah, like that version of Jarvis that worked alongside with her. So I was like, that's even cool. Like
Yeah.
that's an aspect of the universe that like I don't even know.
Right,
So
'cause
that
we
makes
don't
me
watch
wonder.
that.
I'm like, was there anything like callbacks to stuff that like in Shield
Jarvis.
or any of that kind of stuff? I mean, like
I'm
that's
sure there was.
that's what's cool because there's so much of this is just a celebration of it
Yeah,
all.
I didn't know that.
That I didn't know that actor, and I just saw things like a meme or like a image that shared it, and I was like, oh, good for that actor. Like
Yeah.
that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Question. So,
Fact.
Agent Coulson dies, right?
Yep.
He does die.
Wait a minute.
He comes back
No.
in the
They-
TV show because they
yeah.
use the Kree blood,
They
right?
say for some. Yeah, what the hell? He actually should have been back
and he
though.
should
in
have
this.
been in this.
They say, okay, so the theory behind that, the reason why he never has interactions with anyone,
Yeah.
because Nick Fury says it will undo what we did.
Oh yeah, because he's the one he brought them together.
Exactly.
Like he was the
it's
reason why the
Coulson's
Avengers
death of why
assembled.
they formed. Which I'm
Ah,
like, dude,
okay, I
don't you
like
think
that.
that's a little stupid?
I like
Don't
it.
you think at this point they've been through enough shit to be like, we ain't going nowhere. Like we're family. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like, but it's like, goddamn, Coulson's alive. What's up, man?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like I think anyone
I mean,
would
maybe
get
not-
at this point. Some people
See,
get over.
and- oh,
but
God.
again, because of how things are all altered, doesn't Coulson get to have a nice callback to like come and just be like,
He should, because he should have been at Tony's freaking funeral.
At this point, that's the thing. Hello, like if everyone was sitting there like snapped or I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just like, can't they find a way to like
Oh man, they
Coulson's
missed out
back,
on that one.
Coulson's back, or like
Because
I
that
don't
would have
know.
been huge. I don't know how like they get Tony.
That's right. Yeah, man. They should have worked their butts to like find a way. It's like
yeah.
Coulson needs to come back so everyone can smile and like,
'Cause, like,
oh,
I mean,
dude.
he throws the Avengers cards on the table,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
the bloody and like,
Yeah.
and Tony does.
See,
That's what
the
rallied
dies
thing,
him
not
up.
knowing.
Yeah.
You know, Black Widow dies not knowing.
Right. That's true, man.
Those
And I don't know. I was always a weird thing with Shield. I mean, when I first started watching, I'm just like,
I never
why
even
doesn't
got
he
into
get to? Yeah,
never got into the
it's
show.
such on a different level.
The only
But
reason
yeah,
I
was like,
watched
why didn't
it,
he get to? Yeah,
I just heard
it
bad
would
things. I
undo
never
the
heard.
Avengers. It's just a thing where like that's why you're excited about Disney Plus
Mhm.
yeah,
because really it's to really explore for the first time of like we have a cinematic universe and now we're exploring like this show whatever.
yeah,
But really, it's like the quality and stuff. Like the expectations are there, where you're like, it's gonna be seamless.
yeah.
Where that was always with Shield. You're like, I don't buy into this. Like quality of this, I'm like, I don't believe that
Sucks.
these people live in the same world. and that's a
Mhm.
hard thing. Like that's separate of
Mhm.
like film and TV.
How about the fact that Samuel L. Jackson didn't have a line, but he was in the movie?
So I'm
Yeah,
saying,
right.
dude, I don't know if you're here for it, but instead of Captain Marvel coming in that scene, we wanted like the Shield ship to
we
like come
thought,
in with
yeah,
Nick Fury.
Like we were all kind of the same when the guns of his ships are
Epic
pointing
battle
off.
at the end.
We
when the
thought it
guns-
was Shield finally.
Oh,
that
having
would've
a
been
so
Shield
cool.
will
Give
have a
us Nick
presence.
Fury, dude. I
Yup.
don't need Captain Marvel. Give me Nick Fury
Yeah.
coming in on
We
the
thought it was
Shield.
going to be
That would've
Helicarrier
been really
and Shield
good.
Yeah,
because we
bro.
didn't. We
Ship
had no
for ship.
Shield presence in this movie, and that's the thing.
And
Where
he
it's
could
just
have been
like,
the gunships that they took down. Like he got
Exactly.
him again, but like only only
Yeah.
Nick had like the
yeah,
codes for. it or
we
whatever.
were all on the same page. Like that's what we all went through our minds. It's like
I did.
Shield.
I knew it was Marvel.
and
right
then
away.
and then she come and like I said, like for me it was just like oh yeah, I forgot she's supposed to be in this.
I think I even leaned
She
over to Doug. And I
disappeared,
was
and,
like,
that was
"It's
it."
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, that's right."
I was thinking, I was like, give me Nick Fury.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
thing.
man,
though.
that
Give me a
would've been awesome.
motherfucker
But
line
that's something
from
else. Where
Samuel L.
like
Jackson.
the whole in that battle, there's no Shield presence, and you're just like again,
Now-
like it's like a celebration of stuff.
Do
Where's
we-
Shield?
Do they say maybe not because they wouldn't have the technology to really do anything to Thanos' ship? Maybe to
That's
run
what
in
I mean. It'd be
and,
it'd be cool. It'd be cool, but yeah, that ship would have got fucked up.
Yeah,
I mean,
or
it's
like maybe they
Thanos'
show
like
up
They
and
still
then
should've, though.
Marvel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Captain
still
Marvel
them doing an
saves
effort.
Nick
Yeah.
Fury. That would have been awesome because we don't even see those two interact with each
Right?
other.
She tears up in the beginning when she learns it's like he's gone.
He's gone, and then
you
they're
know,
standing next to each other on that
yeah,
porch,
Nothing.
and nothing. So
Yeah.
it would have been cool, like have them show
Yeah.
up.
I wonder
all
if
the
he was
gunships.
salty about that at all. Like, damn, that's the last movie. I don't even get fucking lines or anything.
Yeah, probably not. He got money.
Oh,
he
Nick,
probably got
I
paid.
mean,
He don't
yeah,
care.
Samuel L. Jackson and everything.
If
But
anything,
yeah,
it's him sitting there and be like,
I
I
w-
don't have to say anything,
Yeah.
and I still get this check.
Hmm.
Okay.
as a fan, though,
Yeah.
as a fan, I would
Best
like to
thing
see more
ever.
of him, though.
I
for
would have
sure.
liked, like you guys just said, like have those ships show up and like him being like, oh crap, and then Captain Marvel stepping in front of the ships.
Yeah,
saying,
bring
and
him in
she-
with Captain Marvel.
and
if you're
she
gonna
turns
do it.
around and like looks at him and he's like, you got my page, whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. That would have been
because like that was the whole thing. He called her.
He called her.
That'd be cool if they
He's
showed
the
up.
reason why this is even
Yeah.
a thing.
She
right
could probably protect that ship from getting fucked up too.
now.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I think is really funny is he calls her and like, oh my God, she's gonna be saving grace. Did she make a big difference in this movie?
No, because
No,
I
that's
got
what
rid
I
of her.
said. Dude, that's why I'm like that's
the
my one
gunship-
gripe. That's my one
Yeah.
gripe with Marvel just in general and Feige of being like, they sold her as playing like being the decisive hand against Thanos.
Yes.
She wasn't.
Tony was,
Unnecessary.
and I like that Tony was.
Oh yeah,
I love that
needed
Cap
it
was.
needed to be Tony and Steve.
Yeah.
That's
The
what it needed to
original
come down
guys.
to.
Yeah.
She didn't, and then for all that, I was just like fake hype. Honestly, I'll call you on it. Fake hype.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Yeah.
So not needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm expecting to rip this dude's head like something.
Yeah. And
Thor
like,
chops
yeah,
the
she-
head off, and in the end, I was like, yeah, she took a headbutt and whatever. I'm just like, fake
Yeah, that
hype.
was like the coolest thing is when she took a headbutt and she didn't
Yeah.
flinch.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
But it
it was
also
like
sounded like
steel.
it also sounded like somebody like hit the top of Buzz Lightyear's like.
Yeah.
dome.
It did
was
totally
like,
the
boing.
ting. Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
what the hell was that noise?
Like
That's
heads don't make
It
that
was
sound.
ringing. Yeah, you're like Wolverine, like
Yeah, right.
adamantium.
Like,
Like,
what-
what's wrong with her head? Why
Do
is
you
she
have a
like
shield around
metal?
her
Yeah,
head?
exactly.
Yeah.
Vibranium under there. Like, yeah.
I don't
That
know,
weird
but yeah,
effect.
like that was a little weird. Like I get that she couldn't be there for like
Yeah.
most of the movie because again she's so
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah,
But you make Thanos that level then,
Yeah.
and I really like
and they could
how
have
he
because
snatched that power stone out of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
and
Oh
just
yeah.
ripped
Launch it.
in.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
well, for
God,
me,
that was
me,
cool.
I don't even think she should be as powerful as him because he has in that scene he had all the Infinity Stones. She got mutated by one, but I mean he's got all the fucking Infinity Stones. He should still be the most powerful fucking dude in that scene.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she should get her ass kicked.
The other thing is like, well, he never had this. He never had the stones really, right? He was just going to go to do the snap right away. I was gonna say
Yeah.
he didn't really
Yeah.
use the stones like he did
No.
in the last movie, but I think that wasn't the point. He wasn't going to use them to play around.
Yep.
He was just there to get his
Oh,
job
he
done.
was there to
Exactly, yeah.
destroy.
So, I guess even after saying it and thinking about it, it makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they definitely should have had like something with Captain Marvel and Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Yeah, no, like you say, I think that would have been the
Yeah.
perfect thing if you're gonna have Captain Marvel fly in at the end. Bring in the ship too.
Yeah.
Bring in the shield ship. She can protect it. It won't get fucking blown up.
Yes.
Because that's the thing. That's my only concern was like it would probably get blown up by that
Yeah, and that's
technology.
my thing
But I'm
too.
like, if she's there, she's blocking it, and they're able to shoot at the same time.
Mhm.
That'd be a perfect fucking
I just think like
entrance.
we've never really. I mean, we've always seen it's like Shield is there operating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It just always seems like this weird thing of just like just a bunch of people running around like hup, yep, like doing stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see it's like, dude, give us like that S.
Yeah.
Like finally, like one thing I've always wanted to see with Shield, we've never gotten it. I want to see people with jetpacks flying around with the weapons. And again, I mean, like it's collateral damage, and you're like, they're out of their league. But
Yeah.
again, these are fucking soldiers and troops where like they know the risks, and again they have that shield presence of like, hey, we're here, like send everyone that we got, and it's just them like flying around doing whatever the hell that they're doing, you know. But again, you're just like, but they're part of it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know the stakes, and they're there. They're
Yeah.
fucking like everyone else. When you got people with Wakanda, you have all these different ones. Like they're taking hits, they're getting murdered. Regardless of like humans, it's like if anything, it's like that should speak volume.
Yeah.
That's like even as humans, like we're in the fight too. You
Yeah.
know, and that's the thing. Like we don't get that, so I'm like, yeah, no, there's no shield presence.
Yeah.
But again, the evolved shield, and then be like, we've never seen this.
I think
and
we'll
that's
get
what
that.
shield always is.
We'll
Yeah.
get that in Hawkeye's
Oh yeah,
TV shows and in Black Widow.
the Black Widow, that prequel, yeah, whatever.
I think both of
that
those
type
movies
is
will
finally.
be heavy
Well,
shield.
dude, we've always said
gadgets.
it. It's like, give us a shield movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that's what we always knew. Like between Hawkeye and Black Widow, we're like, I'd fucking love to see like a legit Bond style, but like with crazy technology.
Yeah.
Shield movie would be great. And then you know finally like they're exploring it with like the Black Widow spin-off type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, I totally would have loved to see something of presence like
Just
dude,
like-
Shield.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like
This was
even,
a celebration of everything in Marvel,
Yeah.
and that was it was like, well, we didn't get that.
Like,
You know, like you
say,
didn't acknowledge
show
Fury.
inside the ship, show what's going down inside the ship. Like, I need everything we got right
Yeah,
now,
dude.
Put it out. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
sick if you go in and it's like, fuck, dude, this is. Oh my god.
I
that'd
would
be
have
sick.
loved that if they like fired everything they had.
Yeah.
And it made no dent.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So as a human race,
Yeah.
our
We're
technology
primitive.
is
Yeah,
sad.
still nothing. Yeah.
Like Wakanda's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wakanda's
The
there.
wizards are there, but they're not like human race. They're basically all knowing, all seeing kind of thing.
Mhm.
But we are, you know, like they were talking about how like they got the weapons from like the New York battle and all that stuff, and like how Coulson had that weapon.
Yep.
What was that project for that one again? I can't remember the project something. Project 44. Was it a number?
You saying when Captain America found all the stuff?
Yeah, all the stuff.
Project.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Adrian, what
but
was it?
anyway, they had those weapons. So like you're saying, like it should have been
Yeah.
the
The Avengers, I remember he had like the destroyer thing
yes.
because they were coming off like Thor, and he
Yes.
goes, I don't even know what this thing does, you know,
Right,
whatever.
right,
like
right,
that
right.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you see it because how it opens up, you're like, oh, that's from like the destroyer.
Yeah.
Like they're like tampering with his
Yeah.
whatever abilities.
But then like they
yeah, the
definitely
project
recovered
or
all that stuff
something.
from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have been able to have like some kind of a weapon system set up to like
Yeah.
do something, at least for like those the ground troops.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like more, like yeah, it'd be cool if they did stuff, and it's like, oh, they have no effect on the ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that, like I think that would be great. If like, oh, they're in trouble with that,
Yeah.
and then Captain Marvel does, and then cool
Yeah,
interaction with Fury.
yeah.
But like I said, just seeing the
Go
troops
on,
to help with the ground,
Yeah,
like
you
in
can
the
get the ground
trenches of
stuff.
like, dude, fuck these like dogs. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like flying around, and you're like, we have never seen this. Like
Yeah.
people on with jetpacks and like all this cool armor stuff. Like that's what Shield does. And I'm like, yeah,
No.
dude.
Yeah, that would've been
Cartoons were always just badass. Like I remember watching the Spider-Man stuff. In the 90s, like that was what Shield was literally you were seeing, you're like, dude, who are these guys with like jetpacks, and they're
Yeah.
like after Spider-Man. It's like, you need to come with us, and like, you know, they were after him, and we just haven't gotten that kind of stuff yet. So I'm just like,
When-
that was the stuff I want to see, like them flying around helping the ground
Yeah,
battles.
that would have been good.
Mm.
When Thanos is standing in the middle and he's kind of fighting whoever's fighting with him,
Yeah.
is there ever a point where you can feel the battle going around him, or is it like feels like it's off in the distance? Do you know what I mean? Like it's like kind of like him on an island, and like, you know, Cap and Iron Man are
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
fighting.
Kind of, yeah.
If they were gonna do that, I wish they would have like Shuri would have came with like the force field stuff, and like thrown a bubble over that. You know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
left that. So then you
Just give a
understand-
reason why there's
Yeah,
so much
it's like there was
separation.
nothing running through there.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's because it is Thanos, but again, it's definitely plot convenience and like.
Yeah. You just gotta accept that. Like,
Yeah.
obviously.
But like again, a nice little callback to like
yeah,
the
I could
Wakanda
put
shield.
a shield up. Yeah,
and
that
like
makes
having
sense.
that be thrown out on the battlefield again and like use it in a different way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that would have been cool,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
mean-
I don't know how they were going to utilize that. And again, we're just nitpicking at this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well,
like,
we're super
Yeah.
nitpicking at this point.
I mean, I think
like
it
there's
would've
more
been-
stuff we would have like. I
Yeah.
saw everything I wanted to see. Like the
Oh, yeah.
shield thing would have been nice, but
yeah.
I mean, I
they can
think
only do
there's
so much.
definitely a way where, like, when they're initially, like, running and you're getting that full effect,
Yeah.
like, for me, there's so much, like, of this that I would totally been fine with it, where I'm like, dude, I still want, like, for this type thing, I was like, they should have gone 2 towers with it. And that's what I was, like, totally, like, ready for, where I'm like, dude, we're just going to get, like, almost an hour of straight
Yeah.
war, like,
Yeah.
battle, like, the final stand. And I was like, I'm so ready to see, like, someone adopt and be like, hey, remember the 2 towers? Remember how epic that was and groundbreaking?
Yeah.
Why can't we apply it to Marvel? You know, and like this was the thing to do.
Yeah.
But like I think in like the sense of what a battle like that actually is.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool where before you have something with, because it's just crowded.
Yeah.
And I think like it's only been explored and like maybe like in the Hobbit came. I mean, definitely I think probably like Return of the King or that kind of stuff, or even it's probably Two Towers. But like when it's so crowded of just seeing some like Thanos just mess people up and just going after whatever, as he's like so focused to be like, Captain, I'm coming for you, or like Thor getting to them, and same thing for them of just being like, God, like this that almost like phobia or whatever of just like so tight.
Yeah,
so many
claustrophobia.
bodies. Yeah, claustrophobia. Of just being like, jeez, and like them literally just messing people up, having to do that instead of sometimes it's like that stuff we embellish and we play where you think it's just like I have space to do whatever the heck, and it's like that. I mean, how everything's like and like the big collision.
Yeah,
that I mean something like that of like really play on that effect, because I only think it's been explored with like Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yep.
And I'm not big like the Game of Thrones. I'm like, man,
there's definitely a episode.
I feel like there's got to be that in there.
Battle of the Bastards.
And what? And then what like is coming kind of with like the newer stuff. But yeah, man, I was just like, that would have been something kind of crazy.
So,
we're just like, oh, so many bodies, dude.
They should have also with the Wakandans is had those rhinos show up.
Yeah.
And like throw the force fields on the front of those guys, and then just battering ram through guys.
Yeah.
And like just like.
Once again,
nitpicking.
And just a budget
Why not?
thing. Yeah. And maybe just a budget thing. Yeah.
It's been awesome.
But like we said, I was like, you definitely could have split this movie into a trilogy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was like, if it would have been a trilogy, we would have gotten an hour of that full thing. We were like, nobody's ever done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this is like Lord of the Rings.
I mean, it was close to a full hour of battle. I mean, it was close.
I mean, that like, there's definitely like there's all those events and things that are like unfolding, but to like really push it, where I'm just like, again, I mean, then there's a lot that they could have probably explored with another installment, and then really push like the budget on that stuff. Because I mean, it's like I didn't even think about that. Where it's like, like more like that, the rhinos. I mean, there's definitely tons of callback stuff that they could have added, but it already, I mean, it's already a thing, like, as this movie stands, like, it's a lot. It's a lot that gets thrown at you.
He was right, though. The Russos were right, man. They couldn't really go too much under 3 hours and 2 minutes. I mean, they fit everything.
Yeah, they got it.
Like, they fit a lot in 3 hours,
that
dude.
It was hard for them to cut.
Yeah,
they're pretty much close with what their
I wonder what they
did
cut.
They said not. I remember, like, from, like, the original whatever thing, they said we only took off, like, 5 or
I bet you they left
10 minutes.
I bet you they left
like
that big battle because there's really no way you have all those people working on that CGI and everything like that, and then you go, let's cut 10 minutes of that.
It's got to be more character moment, like stuff like that. Yeah. And then that's where like I feel like everything that is in there, I'm like, and especially like only to get to go see it again, like multiple viewings. I still think after like coming off like a first watch, like everything holds up really well. But like I want to go. I mean, like then stuff is coming, so I'm like, there's a lot of stuff there that like you'll be able to pick up from, like Black Widow, and like there's a lot of some sad stuff where like when they're all going doing their thing, and like we don't know, it's like she's not coming back. So like no, I mean there's a lot of cool stuff like that where like only now that we know the big full like story and arc of everything. But like to go back and people are just like, oh, maybe you could have like shaved off like Captain's little support group. I'm like, no, because that lets you know, like, again, that speaks volumes of who Captain is.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't even believe in what he's saying to them. Just being like, we move on, or like, hey, at least we're doing this. That, and then like again, we find out in a different conversation with Black Widow and like where his head's at. I'm just like, oh my God, we need all this.
You need
and
to
for
get a
people
life,
like
and
shave
she
that
says
off,
you
shave
first.
that off. Yeah, and I'm like, I love it. I'm like, dude, we're living this world where like, and the Russo that's in it or whatever. I love that. Like we were talking about the Mets, blah blah, and all the stuff of like he broke down before or whatever, and I made it probably around like dessert,
yeah.
And I'm just like, like we're breathing in this world of like that's exactly what we need. That we need to hear that. We need to understand that. So I don't know if people can sit there and be like, they could have shaved off some stuff. And I'm just like,
that's
nope, this is a tight movie. They needed everything that is in it.
The other thing
to
too,
get the payoff.
The other thing too, I didn't even realize at first, is like when they were assigning teams, and then they put Barton and Scarlet together. And they just go over so quick. You're just like, oh fuck. It like hit me a minute later. I'm like, fuck, one of them are gonna die. Like one, they go through it so quick in that scene. Where like you're with them, blah blah. blah. And I'm like, oh fuck.
I thought for sure they would find a way around that.
You can't though. How do you
Soul Stone? And I don't know how. I thought again there was so much speculation on like Gamora's gonna be in the Soul Stone and like
there was a lot of speculation about like all the souls, everyone that died are in the Soul Stone.
Like,
I heard that a lot.
Is gonna be in the Soul Stone and that's how he's gonna get released.
Theories and stuff.
And they didn't even go there.
Dude,
and I kind of like that because
no, I like exactly how they played it out.
I mean, that is one thing. Like you introduced the whole thing of like Soul World.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this one, like we don't get any. I mean, it's like Thanos like sees Gamora and stuff. Like, what did it cost?
Yeah, you thought you might see a scene of Scarlet in the Soul World.
Well, and maybe even something of like to explore. It's like, oh, they just showed a Soul World, and like that is a big part of everything with the Soul Stone. And then like in this one, it's like, oh, they don't even like go back to that. So then it's just kind of thing of just like, oh, okay. But that's where I'm like, no, there's nothing like Soul World and like understanding of like that's probably like, was there a thing like what were those characters doing within that realm?
Right.
But that's why I was like, no, yeah, nothing about that. And that's what you probably thought, from speculation, like Gamora will play a hand, probably something, because there's more to that Soul World. And it's like, oh, no, like not at all.
Nope.
So then it kind of is a thing going back to be like, did you ever like really need to introduce that concept then? Because you're not going back to it. Like the whole Soul World thing. That's where, I mean, I totally like thinking about it after that was something. I was like, oh, yeah, dude, like Soul World was nothing. Didn't mean anything for this movie. So yeah, I don't know. It is interesting.
Yeah, I guess I still don't get the whole thing of like when Thanos did the original snap and then he was in the Soul World. Like that didn't happen for Hulk or Tony.
They didn't come back.
I don't know. I guess he has that connection with Gamora. They didn't have a connection with anybody.
Oh,
at that point.
he had the okay.
Yeah.
He snapped and he
it's
went
just
into
it's
the
a
Soul
little
Stone or
inconsistent.
When
but yeah.
the Soul World, yeah, exactly. Like
If
within the Soul Stone stuff,
Hawkeye
so,
would have
there's
done it,
nothing.
he would have
Yeah.
gone in because
Yeah.
he was the one to sacrifice and get the Soul Stone.
Yeah, I
think
guess
that's
I
why.
guess it depends if you're the one that sacrificed somebody. That might.
Like whoever
part of
got
it.
the Soul Stone is now going to be able to go into it.
Yeah,
kind of
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a thing, like I said, like they introduced it, but they don't go back to it and stuff. So like we don't know really like what their intentions were with it. But yeah, I mean it was something though interesting. Like for this one, it's like didn't play a factor at all. So like it's just something that's just in there in Infinity War, but we don't really know further exploration of its purpose.
Right.
But yeah.
Well.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right.
So that was like 2 hours, right on the 2 minutes before 2 hours. That was a good talk though. That was long.
Sweet.
It's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
It was
dude.
like
I feel
a-
like it can't
it was like
be
Endgame.
anything, but yeah.
It was long, but it felt short.